Hello, good evening, everybody. So we are back again for another tier rebuttal. This time we're going to be talking about film franchises. Today I got some special guests to help out. So first of all, we're going to be joined by Jeff, aka Quiz Show. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? I'm not that great. My delivery driver didn't bring my churros, so I'm pretty devastated actually. But I'm excited for this.
Hell yeah. Let's see here. We got Jonathan, aka Bloodsport.
How are you doing, everybody? I'm doing great. Had a rough week, but today this is the first time I'm 100%, and I'm ready to roll.
You had a rough week. It's Monday.
Well, last week I had a rough week. Illness and whatnot.
So. Yeah, we're gonna do our best to make it right here. So, another first-time guest here. We've got Pardis, Party J. What's going on?
Nothing much. Just did the Smash-a-thon, which went really well.
Excellent.
I'm ready to do this.
Hell yeah. And last but not least, we have a returning guest. It is Monty.
Hey, Zach, great to be back, bud. Oh, so happy to be here. And I'm glad you said that this is the place where we make things right, because that's exactly what we do here.
All right. So any general thoughts from you guys before we get started? Anything?
We all have generals, so we all have thoughts.
We are all the generals, and we all have thoughts.
We all have general thoughts.
So we all have general thoughts. That is true. Okay. Well, I mean, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So this is the stream. This is the tier that we're working with. I think we're just going to start at the top and work our way straight through. So the first one up, Godfather.
Well, can we also address? Can we also address some? I know I was talking with you about this beforehand. Before we actually start ranking, because there are some of these that are a little odd in terms of what is and is not a franchise. I think we should lay a couple ground rules as to what counts towards it in order to, if there's a semantics argument later on. Like, for instance, at least from my perspective, and of course, guys, please pipe in, please interrupt me, please tell me I'm wrong. To me, a franchise is, we're talking film franchises. We're not talking about where it's one movie and then theme parks or merchandise and stuff like that. It is a film franchise. And in that, a film franchise should be at least two entries in one common IP. So it could be one film and its big sequel.
Yeah.
So
at least.
I think what we'll have to do here, I think we're going to take the franchises as they come here.
Yeah.
And we will just rank them according to their film entries only. So like you're saying, it's something like you're talking about one movie with some theme parks and stuff, something like Avatar. Mm-hmm. We're still going to rank Avatar with the understanding that there's
a sequel at some point.
It is very loosely considered a franchise. But just for the sake of getting through the list, there is one that we won't be ranking because I have no idea what it's supposed to be. It is Daniel Craig, Batman, and Captain America. I don't think that's a franchise.
You don't remember that team up movie, Coach?
Yeah. So. I also personally don't believe that Walt Disney Animation should be ranked because Walt Disney Animation is a production company and Animation Studios is a production company and not a franchise. So Pixar films, they have individual franchises because Pixar is a production company. Because otherwise, if there are horror films within Blumhouse, then Blumhouse should be ranked all on its own. So at least that's my reasoning.
Yeah, I'm actually in agreement with Quiz Show.
Same.
Okay, then I think maybe we can make some calls as we go through. Then
absolutely.
Finding Nemo is not a franchise.
Well,
Finding Nemo has Finding Dory. It's two films.
Right. It's close. It's borderline. All right. Well,
more than
with that said, more than Avatar. Let's get started. The Godfather.
Okay. We should start that at. I think we should start that at S tier and see how we go later on to see how we feel about, based on its ranking, how we feel about Godfather Part 3 down the line.
Yeah, the thing is, the first two movies are like two of the best movies ever made.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's a franchise effectively with two perfect movies. You're not really going to beat that.
Basically, people blame Part 3. We could save that for later, with Part 3, but
I think we all Oh, go ahead, Jonathan. Sorry, I thought you were.
No, like with part 3, like I think in my opinion, it's underrated because it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths because it's compared to the first 2, and the first 2 are like masterpieces. And I don't know if any trilogy in my mind, maybe a couple that are considered masterpieces compared to the third movie,
like the Before trilogy.
Probably that's one of the few that I consider. All of them are great.
Yeah.
But part 3 is like,
Yeah.
right there.
Okay.
Part 1, part 2, part 3, like down here, but good enough.
Hey, and before we get too far into this, another thing is similar to the MCU tier list that we did over the weekend. The plan is to rank all these franchises exactly as we see them. So there's no limits to how many can go in a specific tier. You're not going to bump something just so you can move something else in. If we think it's better, then we'll put it in front of it. But if you end up with 20 movies in C tier, then that just means we thought there were 20 different franchises that needed to be in C tier.
Right.
And then at the end, would we be able to re-review to see if we feel like we want to readjust?
At the very end, we'll go through and just see if there's any major objections, things that stand out
Close
that we
ranks,
want to
All right.
All right, Marvel Studios. To me, this
Heavy
is
S tier.
this is
S-tier.
another
S.
S.
I was
tier.
going to say A or
I'd put
S
it before
tier.
The Godfather.
Yeah, it's definitely below
As
Godfather.
a franchise, as a franchise, it is ahead of The Godfather.
I would say ahead of The Godfather too.
As if we're looking at, this is a franchise tier list, not a film tier list. As a
Yeah.
franchise, it is way ahead of The
It is a
Godfather.
film-
As a
Film
Franchise.
franchise tier list.
So
Then
yes.
I would actually concur if that's
Absolutely,
what the
Liam.
discussion is. By discussing that, then it should be above Godfather in terms of film franchise.
One
yes,
could argue it's the most influential film franchise of all time, but we'll get to that argument later.
The highest grossing.
I would say it is way
It
too
is.
early to make that call, though.
yeah. I'm not saying anything right now.
That's fair, Zach.
I mean-
Like I said, we
Well,
will get to that
also-
argument later.
At a historical level, I mean, you just
At an actual history level, it's been going on for 10 years. We need to see what influence is like in another 10 years, maybe 20 years for full retrospect.
I know,
And I know
Zach,
exactly
we're
what you're
gonna cut
actually trying to say, and I see through you, man.
Nah, that's very hard. I'm solid.
okay. I think there's some consensus there. So let's move on. John Wick.
I would say A.
I would put it in A.
I would agree
Put it
with
in
A.
Put it in A for now.
Yeah, I put it
Well,
in
like
A.
like I said, we're going to put it where we think it really needs to go. So don't say
I
put it in
think-
A for
I
now.
think
If
they're
you
A.
think it's A, we'll put it in A. But
I
I think
think
they're
it's an
three
A.
solid films. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
they're
I
three
think
very,
I
very
think
solid
they
films.
are.
I think. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt. I've talked a lot. I want other people to be able to speak as well.
I will say that the first one, started out strong. Introducing us to John Wick and the world and the Continental, like it's really well, and it also has rewatchability factor. 2, in my opinion, pivots a little bit, but 3, Parabellum, oh my god, it's skyrocketed. It's
I
skyrocketed
love
the franchise. And
Parabellum is my favorite, even though I think that the first one is the most complete film because it's so compact and it's so down and dirty in what it's trying to do. But I also just had the best experience seeing the third one in the theater. Just you're laughing watching these crazy stunts happen.
And also,
But also, if we're talking about it as a film franchise, we think about just how it actually grew and how the popularity of it grew and the respect for it grew. The first film made about $40 million. The second film made about $90 million. The third film made about 165. I know we're not just talking about box office, but I think that it also influences if you're discussing the idea of film franchise versus quality of just films.
yeah, and also we are all anticipating the 4th movie. See what happens.
And 5th one.
okay.
And the 5th, the 5th one.
There will be a 5th one.
All right. For the time being, I'm gonna.
It's already. They already
move Walt
said
Disney
they're making a
Studios.
5th one.
Yeah. Well, Zach, when you're saying like we put it where we believe it needs to be, all I mean by for the time being is then when we close ranks at the very end in case we change our minds. That's the only reason why I'm saying time being.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Harry Potter.
Ooh,
Are we including the Fantastic
This-
Beasts?
yeah, that's what I was
is it
gonna
just-
Yeah, you have to.
I would.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah. I think this
that
is.
that brings it down to a
then.
B.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think this
that's
is
a
the
B.
Wizarding World franchise. I don't know. I think Wizarding.
I think B.
Because of Fantastic Beasts, it's a high B.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I
Okay.
enjoyed the second Fantastic Beasts.
I like Fantastic Beasts 2 more than 1, but I also don't like either of those movies. And the only reason why is because I found the second one to be slightly more interesting because I was bored to tears by the first one, but they're also both very bad.
I would probably repaint my entire house before I ever watched the Fantastic Beasts movies again. So I think putting Harry Potter at B sounds fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
because we know that
I would say
Harry
Harry
Potter
below A.
So I will say we might have some trouble down the line if we start penalizing franchises too heavily for their weakest entries. So I think we're going to find a lot of franchises that have very weak entries once you get 9 movies.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, the difference is Marvel Studios has Thor Ragnarok in there, but the problem, or not Thor Ragnarok, it has Thor the Dark World in there, but it also has 15 other movies that make it totally okay that it has a Thor the Dark World in there to rank it as S tier. Harry Potter only has less than half the number of films that Marvel Studios does, and 2 of those 9 films are garbage. So I think
some of those Harry Potter films are not that great. Even the regular Harry Potter films are not that great. They're all classics. They're all contemporary classics, good. Especially for us growing up with them. Mm-hmm. But just because something is a classic now doesn't necessarily mean that everything about it is great. So I think that a high B overall is really what works it. And Liam is right there. The first 2 ones are very shaky because the problem is
they're so
they're young, so they're still trying to grasp how to act. And also Harry as the protagonist means that the first 2 movies basically he's very wide-eyed, like, ooh, what's magic for about 2 full movies. So it takes a little bit to get going. And now where we are is it's kind of fallen off a bit. So we have a lot of strong stuff in the middle, but we have a lot of kind of shakiness on the sides.
Yeah. Also, Chris Columbus.
Yes,
Chris Columbus directed the first 2. It was children friendly. Basically guided us as we matured along the way, for sure. I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If we were to remove, in our heads, if we were to remove Fantastic Beasts, would you put Harry Potter at A?
I would put it A.
I would
still put A.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Fantastic Beasts is part of it.
Yeah. All right, then. Let's move on.
Now, here's a question for Spider-Man there. Because two Spider-Man films are in Marvel Studios.
That's
2 other ones are a different franchise. Are we just talking about the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire films?
I think we have to talk about the Sony... I think we have to talk about the Sony Spider-Man universe, which includes Amazing 1 and 2, but it also includes Into the Spider-Verse.
Correct.
And it also includes Venom. And we don't know about Morbius yet, so I can't say.
Yep.
And Morbius, unfortunately.
This is tough.
It's tough because there's more misses than hits.
Yeah, there's 3 solid films in that franchise, which is Spider-Man 1, 2, and Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. That's it?
And then
that are good.
Because we're not talking about the MCU Spider-Man here. So what we got we have Tobey Maguire 1, 2, 3. We got Andrew Garfield 1, 2. We got Spider-Verse, and we have Venom.
Okay,
so we got 3 and we got
3's atrocious. Amazing Spider-Man is it's okay. 2,
the problem is Spider-Man 2 and Into the Spider-Verse are 2 very, very great films.
So
even the first Spider-Man movie is very good for what it is.
Nikki brought up a very good kind of phrase when we were talking about Fantastic Beasts versus Harry Potter in the chat here. Would you say high floor, low ceiling? I think that's a really great way to describe the Sony Spider-Verse film, the Spider-Man films. Very high ceiling with things like Spider-Verse. Very low ceiling, very high floor, low ceiling. The low floor with like Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I think
high ceiling with Spider-Verse.
Because of the greatness of Into the Spider-Verse, I would say I would go A. Or high B.
I would say B because
I would go ahead of Harry Potter.
I would go ahead of Harry Potter for sure, just because the highest highs are so much higher than the highest highs of.
I agree, a high B, because the low lows bring it down from an A. Spider-Verse is only 1 film in the whole of it, which is great, but it's not the entirety of the film franchise.
Okay, I agree.
What's this?
All right, Night at the Museum. So you start with sort of like one fun movie, and then it's just it's
D. I'll just give D. You know what? I have a very small opinion on this. Put it in the dumpster fire tier, and that's all I'll say.
I mean,
I'd say the first one's not that bad.
I'm happy with it in
the first one's because the first one's not bad. The second and third one, I haven't seen the full film, so I can't comment on. Which is why I'd put it at D, because saying they're better is like, I don't know, saying that Amazing Spider-Man 1 is better than Amazing Spider-Man 2. What does that even mean in terms of quality?
I feel like E is fair, more than fair.
Yeah.
I feel like E is more than fair.
I think it's not total garbage, which is why I'm saying D.
You know what?
Yeah, I think the first one has a lot of redeeming qualities to it.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
I'd say D because the first one, it's 3 films, and D, yeah,
that's fine. I'm not gonna fight anymore for this. I'm not gonna waste the show's time.
Yeah. None of us care enough about it to really put it anywhere. We're not passionate about it, and I think D is a really good impassionate level.
Me too. Okay, so next we have The Hobbit. So this is just The Hobbit. This is not Middle Earth.
Yikes!
The Hobbit by itself.
C.
That's C.
I would
that's the middle of the road.
I'd put it at C, and I never felt the passion to watch the third one. So that's a problem. I think that personally, I know there are a lot of big issues with them. I also just love the world of Middle Earth and just seeing it on screen. So when I watch it, I'm forgiving of it. But afterwards, I'm much more cognizant of the issues. So it's between, I'd say low C, bordering on D, but I think there's enough fun stuff in them to have it be at a C.
I think there's enough cinematic quality to elevate it to a C.
Yeah. The problem is,
I agree with C.
Yeah, the problem is, I agree with Quiz Show about the visual imagery, but we saw the Lord of the Rings, so.
I mean, the visual
like $1, right? So it's not like $3.
Listen, I watched all,
and also you don't really remember most of the new characters.
I watched all 3 of these in rapid succession this year, preparing for trivia, and they're so forgettable and so daunting to watch back to back to back, as opposed to Lord of the Rings, which you could watch for 9 hours straight, and they're so engaging and wonderful. The scenery is actually worse in these movies as opposed to Lord of the Rings, a lot worse. Yeah. So I think C is more than generous for the Hobbit franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea to put an NA in there.
Wait, what's N? Oh,
I got rid of.
Can you put the poop emoji there?
I don't think I can, unfortunately. Okay.
There you go. So basically Disney.
Playing live, boys. Doing it live.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is pretty good so far. No fights yet, so it's a good start.
I have a couple of hills that I'm going to die on. I'm saving them.
All right, then. Here we go.
Okay, Resident Evil. See, I honestly I have no idea what this is.
Never seen it.
I haven't seen it.
They're schlock films. They're just like they're popcorn films.
So you've watched them though, right?
Yeah,
all of them.
I've watched all of them. I can't tell you most about any of them, but I definitely have watched all of them at some point in my life.
So would you be fine keeping it in NA because you don't have any solid opinion on it, or
yeah, that's fine. I mean, NA or F. I mean, let's be honest, they're F tier films. I'm not saying Resident Evil is winning any awards anytime soon. They're all just schlocky, fun films.
Everything I've seen from clips show that the editing is Taken 3 level quality.
Yeah, basically. So there's no rhyme or reason to these movies.
It's Paul W.S. Anderson. He hasn't made a good movie, and I'm going to say that, including, Mortal Kombat.
I like to Event Horizon of the night. So.
All right, Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars.
Here comes our first fight of the night. Whoa.
No, hold on a second.
Back to the Future.
No. You better rate it back, sir.
Did you only see the first film in the series? Is that what you put it as?
That's what.
Okay, let's start easy. The original trilogy is great.
Absolutely.
Return of the Jedi is good. Okay. Now let's go to the prequels.
I grew up with
Revenge of the Sith has some redeeming qualities, but Revenge of the Sith on its own is a low C. The other two are EF.
It's solid. It's solid.
Groundbreaking technological advancements,
trilogy is
incredible
awful.
scores.
Only good thing.
Whoa, party.
Okay,
party,
not awful. Okay, take it back. Like if it's like in a trilogy, but as a separate movie, they're good films, except for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, right. I did not like Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker is not good. Solo is not good. The prequels are not good.
And the Clone Wars movie.
No, I would not put it ahead of Godfather.
It's absolutely not ahead of Godfather.
No.
If you're really you have to you can't just talk about the influence now because there's too much actual bad stuff in the franchise to only put it at S tier.
But even the bad stuff is giving you groundbreaking technology.
What about the Clone Wars movie though?
Clone Wars is actually in there because it was theatrically released.
It's a 3-episode TV arc. It's not really.
But it was put in theaters.
Okay, here's what I would say. I would put it in A.
I'd put it.
No, I would hard disagree with that. Star Wars is definitely S tier as a franchise. As a franchise, it's S tier.
Wow.
It's absolutely S tier. This is an insane thing to
let's leave it there. Let's just leave it there. It's fine.
I'm going to concede this, but I think there are more bad films in it than good films in it.
That's fair, but it is responsible for starting the popcorn franchise.
That's where I'm going to concede is because of the influence and blah 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 bullshit, etc.
I mean,
that's where I live. For show, I live in the blah 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 bullshit.
Here's the thing: I like Last Jedi more than because of the Rise of Skywalker.
I love Last Jedi.
The Rise of Skywalker just blew it. It blew
Last Jedi.
No, Rise of Skywalker just blew.
I love Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker just was like, let's listen to Twitter.
It's basically the Matrix Revolutions of the new Star Wars sequel trilogy.
It's a great point from Nikki here.
I know.
You know what, Coach?
Okay.
I'll be willing to put Star Wars 2. You know what? Just to save that chip.
I mean, to me, it's number 1, but it's like
no. I will not do that.
It's the greatest franchise of all time.
I disagree.
I hard disagree with that.
All right, let's move on.
Oh
my god.
S tier.
I gotta think about this one.
I watched these all for the first time recently, and frankly, not impressed at all.
Wait, you never seen it?
They're fun films.
I'd put them in A. I would put
it ahead of John Wick. Here's why.
I'd put it ahead of John Wick at A. It's not S tier because there's some stumbles, especially in part 2.
Yeah.
But I think that overall, once again, you're talking about influence and other stuff. The idea of visual effects work that Zemeckis does, that it's second to none in the kind of work that he does. He's trying to be a pioneer in every film that he ever does. Sometimes it works out great like this and Roger Rabbit. Sometimes it doesn't work out like Welcome to Morrowind and The Witches recently. But here, he wildly succeeds even when he fails.
Yeah, I agree. The first one is such a classic. I mean, it just basically, started this whole trilogy, and then part 2, I agree, it does stumble a bit. It goes like back and forth, with the alternate timeline and all that. And I think part 3 is a nice movie, a nice third movie, which I think is underrated, that finishes pretty cleanly.
I think part 3 is wildly underrated.
Okay. All right, Narnia. I've never seen any of these, so I'll let you.
I saw the first one, and people, it got less and less liked as they went on until they actually flopped out and lost the studio's money and got sold off. And now they're
the first one is good.
I see.
I want to hear what Partis is saying. He said that he's seen all of them. I want to hear what he has to say.
Go ahead.
The first 2 are good, but the third one, didn't really care enough for it.
When you say good, how does it compare to something like The Hobbit?
Where would you put it, Parker? The second one goes further along with it, but then the third one, they lose 2 people for the main cast because of the storyline. It's just forgettable, which I even forgot what the third one's called.
Voyage
I'm thinking
Dawn
D.
Treader?
Yeah, it's Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and then the third one is Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And then they gave up because they stopped making money.
You know what? I would put it ahead of Hobbit.
Ahead of Hobbit?
I wouldn't because the Hobbit had 3 films as well. And The Hobbit made much more money, and the films altogether were more widely recognized in a positive manner than the Narnia films, which each passing film, less people cared about it until you actually forgot there was even a third and a second one.
And no one goes back to even watch them anymore, whereas The Hobbit, people will go back and watch them.
I would actually put it below Night at the Museum, because Night at the Museum has dumb, like more family fun, enjoyable aspects to it that you can put on in the background. I have no intention of putting Narnia on.
You know what? Let's let Pardis decide this.
Yeah, Pardis.
I would only see the first one again. Second and third, maybe the second, but the third one, I would just never see it again.
So do you put it in C or D?
I put it in low C.
Okay, we'll put it low C.
Fair.
Okay, and then just a note on logistics here. We're probably going to have to care less about some of these. So
yeah, we could speed through. We could speed
through.
Toy
Story. S. I put Toy Story S.
Toy Story is S.
Toy Story is S tier, but yeah, it can go there. That's fine.
There, yeah.
Here's the fourth one is horrible. I'm just gonna say it. Like
you are so totally incorrect in every word that just came out of your fucking mouth.
There's so many problems with the fourth one. Like I could rant about it.
I mean,
there's a lot of problems with Godfather Part 3 too, but it's still really good.
The thing is that they made Buzz dumb in this one. Like they completely made him look like an idiot, and then they sidelined all the rest of the toys.
Let's look at this from a more objective standpoint for the sake of time. Toy Story 4, from a critical and financial standpoint, was still a successful film, as well as the other 3 films in the franchise. So I think we're gonna have to see that it's S tier no matter what.
I think it's S tier.
I think it's S tier too.
And I'm putting it under Star Wars.
All right.
Okay.
Pardis, we will acknowledge your protest.
What is that?
Of Toy Story.
Mission Impossible.
Oh.
A.
So this is high.
Top of it.
Okay.
It would be S tier if not for Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah. Agreed.
Fallout is incredible.
Mission Impossible is the kind of series where every film except for Mission Impossible 2 is better than the last one. I don't want to relitigate it because we've done it before. It's in the right spot where it is right now.
Yes, I agree.
Pardis, a lot of what you said though about Toy Story 4, I just want to go back to that. You're right about the buzz and all that stuff. I still disagree with you even when you're right. So just
yeah.
I mean, Crucial basically saying he's going to disagree with most of us today.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Mission Impossible before we move on with James Bond is we care now more about Ethan Hunt than James Bond right now.
Yep.
So, and speaking of James Bond.
Okay, so James Bond.
Goodness.
Let's
50 of them, right?
This is an odd one, right? Because you have 24 movies, 24 canon, I think.
25.
The Ion, whatever canon.
Yeah, 25
canon,
would
right?
never say never again.
Or
who's seen them all?
Yeah, I got you. I have.
Haven't you all seen?
There are, yes, I watched all of them earlier this year. So they are by and large campy, just silly. As a kid, I watched Austin Powers and thought it was hilarious. And I thought, wow, how over the top they went in mocking this franchise of movies. And then I watched the franchise and I was like, oh, wait, they basically just mimicked it perfectly. It is that silly. It is that campy. It's that weird. There's maybe 3 or 4.
Really high.
There's 2 that are really good for me, Casino Royale and Skyfall. And then there's a handful that I think are good. Dr. No is good. From Russia with Love is good.
I think it's B.
I put Goldfinger with really good.
Goldfinger is like the beginning of it turning super campy.
But then it gets really campy after that.
Yeah.
Goldfinger is very enjoyable, but it's also here. Let me strap you to a bench and have a laser very slowly go towards your balls while I tell you my evil plan, and then I'll walk away and hope that you die. That's definitely super campy. I think there's a lot of great stuff in the entirety of the series. Once again, it's very influential. It's got some great, the ceilings on it with Casino Royale, with Skyfall, with GoldenEye, really high. Yeah. Then you got films like Octopussy or not Octopussy, Moonraker, and then Die Another Day, where it's just the bottom of the barrel.
Of You to a Kill.
But I think that the influence and the quality of some of the highs and the campy fun of some of the others puts it squarely in a solid B territory.
See, my issue with it is its hit rate, its success rate is so low. Like you're talking like
less than 50%, like Star Wars.
No, I'm talking like 20%. Like 5 good movies out of 25, and everything else is average to below average.
Did you like the Pierce Brosnan movies, Zach?
I like GoldenEye. The rest.
I like that one and Tomorrow Never Dies actually too. So.
I mean, to me, this is like high C.
I would put it B.
Low B.
Put it
below Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Below Harry Potter.
I cannot wait for No Time to Die.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Cary Fukunaga's vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This makes me sad.
Let's call this what it is. This is D tier.
Can we go through? Wait. Can we just count through real quick?
Yes.
We got X-Men. We got X2, X-Men United. We got X-Men: The Last Stand, X-Men 3: The Last Stand. We got Wolverine Origins. X-Men Origins Wolverine. We got X-Men First Class. We got Days of Future Past. We got Apocalypse. We also have Deadpool. We also have
Wolverine. Wait.
Whoa. Why are we? I'm just detailing through.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just rattling off the movies.
I'm rattling them off. Yeah, we're not. Yeah. I started doing it in chronological order, and then I just skipped over 2013. So but you got it's X-Men, X2, X3, Origins Wolverine, First Class. Then there was
Days of Future Past.
Then there was The Wolverine. Yeah. Then there was Days of Future Past. Then there was Deadpool, and then there was Apocalypse, and then Logan. And then Deadpool 2, New Mutants came out and no one saw it because
Dark Phoenix.
Oh yeah, Dark Phoenix. So there are definitely more misses and hits.
I've seen New Mutants.
I can't see this. Despite Logan and despite X2 and despite the highs of this franchise, the lows are so embarrassingly low. This cannot go higher than C. And I'm a comic book aficionado.
I think it should go in C as well because the highs are ridiculously high with the kind of comedic influence of stuff like Deadpool that we're going to see. The Academy Award recognized screenplay of Logan in terms of breaking through that barrier before Black Panther was able to break through even more the following year. I think that high C above The Hobbit because the highs are higher than The Hobbit, the lows are lower than The Hobbit, but some of the highs are so great that I think it should be at the high end of C.
I think Logan is a masterpiece in my opinion. So
Logan is a masterpiece.
I love that movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, but then you balance it out with X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is an embarrassment film.
Yeah, I actually agree with Nikki.
I saw X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Thanks,
I pirated the film a month before it came out in theaters when the studio leaked it. Or when someone leaked it from the studio, so I got to see the whole final battle where none of the effects were rendered. So it was all just like a gray screen they were fighting on.
Okay, next we have the Meet the Parents franchise.
D.
I don't know. This is better than Night at the Museum. Absolutely.
I find them more funny than Night at the Museum.
I'd put it in. Here's the thing.
I think it's C.
It's at least C because Meet the Parents is a solid high B on its own.
Right.
Meet the Fockers I find more enjoyable, even if it's not great. Meet the Fockers on its own is a high C. Those two films together put it at a low B. Little Fockers I haven't seen, so I need to hear.
I agree with this show.
Little Fockers.
Oh, the Little Fockers. Yeah,
whoa, it's trash.
It's
just.
I mean, I haven't seen Narnia, but
Little Fockers is not good.
I feel bad putting something as influential as Meet the Parents.
Right? Like Partis is too generous. It's awful. So I would put low C.
It's somewhere in C. Fair. It's somewhere in C because of the recognition of Little Fockers being poor. But Meet the Fockers is a lot of fun, and Meet the Parents is legitimately good comedy that holds up.
Right. It's honestly one of my favorite comedies, I think.
I would actually I would put it above The Hobbit, below X-Men.
I think that's I like it there too. I would personally probably put it even above X-Men, but I'm happy if we feel like there's enough bad coming out of
my problem is as great as Meet the Parents is and whatnot, you're putting that above even the idea of Deadpool in terms of comedy. So I wouldn't do that.
I'm not a big fan of Deadpool, so
Well, that's
that kind of comedy.
I guess I gotta change my shirt then.
Well, yeah, but then again,
here's the deal. You'd like it, Zach.
But we're also talking about just like how people have reacted to it. Because remember, I'm not as big a fan of Star Wars, but you said it doesn't matter because of this, that, and the other for the influence. Yeah. So I'm saying here, I think the Deadpool comedy and how it's hitting right now is bigger than Meet the Parents stuff. So
I have a question,
but I think it's perfect where it is.
Go ahead, Bart.
Do we include the PG-13 Deadpool too?
PG-13?
No, because it's a recut of Deadpool 2.
Well, they add the Princess Bride thing, right? Was it or?
Yeah, but I don't think that's enough to shift X-Men any higher than it is. I don't think.
And also that would actually shift it lower because the general reception of Once Upon a Deadpool was negative. Yeah. So
okay,
no,
Rocky.
All right. As an Italian, I cannot settle any lower than A tier for this franchise.
It has Rocky 5, but it also has all the other
Creed,
movies.
And it has Creed too. This is Creed 1 and 2.
I just did a watch through of all of these, with the exception of Creed. I've not seen the Creed movies yet, so I can't speak on those. But these movies are like totally fucking absurd. Like from an actual,
you're out of your mind. You're out of Zach. I want to take you.
Here's the deal.
Go to your neurologist.
They are absolutely absurd.
Is the refs of these boxing matches is who should go see a neurologist. Like they have
some of them are absurd. Okay, he single-handedly defeats communism in Rocky IV, but they're also
that's how
a lot of them are very entertaining. Some of them are the epitome of what a dumb action, a dumb '80s film is, but they're to it. Like there's a sense of
it's also like the same movie every time.
Jonathan, what do you got, bud?
I think it's A tier.
Okay,
I agree.
Well, first, before I make my comment about Rocky, I would put it ahead of John Wick, actually. So Rocky and Rocky 2, I felt like they were both, realistic and self-serious regarding his story. Then Rocky 3 becomes cartoonish, with Thunder Lips and Mr. T going pain.
Let me just say, for anybody that watches boxing, the first two were already cartoonish.
What?
Okay, Zach. Don't worry. We'll get to the Step Up franchise eventually.
He gets punched in the head by the heavyweight champion 74 times in a row, and the ref doesn't call the fight.
The will of an Italian American.
It doesn't matter.
Understand what that is, Zach.
The ref's job is to protect the fighters when they can't protect themselves. Okay.
Okay. But Rocky 4, you have to be, be entertained about its implausibility there, because he would be dead in real life, and then Rocky 5 is just boring, and then
Rocky 5 is bad.
Rocky Balboa.
I like Rocky Balboa.
It was all right.
The Creed movies are great. Is Creed significantly better than any of the Rocky movies?
Yes, except for the first one, in my opinion.
No, except for the first one. We have to. There's an asterisk because remember, Zach just talked about how absurd even the first one is. I could kind of read that from what you just said. So, in terms of how the general public feels about Rocky, Creed is the best Rocky film since Rocky.
Yeah. And Rocky and Creed were both recognized by the Academy in some way, shape, or form. And
Creed 2 is also a very solid sequel to Creed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it.
Ties into the Rocky franchise as a whole.
It's not as good because it's not Ryan Coogler in the director and writer role this time.
Yeah.
But it's still solid in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ryan Coogler brought a new and fresh perspective of boxing. Like that one shot. Oh, yeah. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So
do you want? How do we feel about above or below John Wick?
I would put it above John Wick.
I would put it above John Wick because of its influence on the sports movie genre.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it there. All
right. Okay, so let's just drop this in S tier.
The Dark
move on.
Knight. So is this Batman or is this the Dark Knight?
It's the Dark Knight trilogy.
The Dark Knight
trilogy.
But if we're dealing with franchise tags here, I feel like
that's very specifically the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well,
I think it's Dark Knight trilogy. It's the logo of the Dark Knight trilogy.
We'll come back. We'll come back to Dark Knight.
Hold on.
We have a DC one that's coming up later.
Okay, but let's just do a little talk about logistics here. So yes, I know this logo is for the Dark Knight, but like this is for the Hangover 3. Like there's weird stuff where the logos are showing specific logos. So we kind of have to decide whether this is specifically the Dark Knight or if that's just
I would say Dark Knight because if you see after Cars 2 before Planet of the Apes, you have the DC films.
Yeah, the DCEU is its own separate thing.
I know, but there's a long history of Batman films prior to even the Dark Knight.
Then we should probably take a vote. How do we want to approach it?
Well, it's modeled after the Dark Knight logo, the Nolan logo. So I would call it the Nolan trilogy then.
Well, my thought is like if
the Dark Knight trilogy.
If we're taking Harry Potter and we're including the Fantastic Beasts into it.
Yeah, but it's part of the same canon. That's part of the same whole canon.
Yeah, they're all in the same actual
series.
Yeah,
that's the same continuity.
Whereas all the Batman Returns, no continuity.
Yeah. Okay.
Batman Returns Forever and Batman and Robin are all the same continuity. Batman Begins starts an entirely new continuity.
Yes.
So that is the Dark Knight franchise's logo. So we have to assume it's the Dark Knight trilogy.
And also, this is our list, so we could say that it's just the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, because
how much do y'all like the third movie?
I think it's underrated.
I'm not a fan. I thought it was a slog. Also, I saw it at like 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday in theaters, and it's 3 hours. I felt it was a slog.
I would put it actually an S, but after Toy Story.
Yeah. I put it above Toy Story because Batman Begins is great. I'm not a fan of Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, but there's still some good stuff in there. The Dark Knight is every film Twitter subscriber's wet dream. It's the poster that every guy in college has on their wall nowadays. When it used to be Fight Club or Scarface up there. I think that what it's doing for the superhero genre, as well as a lot of this whole idea of you could tell a story, but dark and gritty, not all of it has been very good in the results from that influence, but there is a significant kind of influence that you should take into account on top of the quality of 2 out of 3 of the films.
I agree, and I think it's like
it's like Godfather. It's like Godfather in terms of how to approach it.
Yeah, you have a good point there.
Film actually hurt the superhero franchise until the MCU started, which was around the same time.
Which was the exact same year.
Yeah, but no, Batman Begins.
Dark Knight and Iron Man.
Dark Knight was the same year, but Batman Begins, after the Batman Begins, for that like 3 to 5 year period, everything tried to replicate Batman Begins, and that doesn't fit every superhero. It only fits a handful of superheroes like Batman. But that being said,
I think we're on the same page.
Move on.
Move on.
Lord of the Rings, another S tier.
S tier.
Two.
I'd put it above Star Wars. I'd actually put it at 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all great.
I disagree. I think the battle scenes are drag way too long. I know most people love those. I think it's like I'm not here for this, but I
You do not like Helm's Deep?
No, it's a 45-minute long battle.
It's better than Game of Thrones. That season 8 Game of Thrones battle.
What? But I don't like the Game of Thrones long-ass battle scenes either, so that doesn't do much for me.
At least you can see the Lord of the Rings Helm's Deep.
No, Jonathan. This is a matter of personal taste for Zach. So he's already conceding. So I don't think we need to go any further into that conversation. I think we move on.
Okay, we won. Hangover trilogy. This is like it's bad.
I like the first one. That's it.
I like the first one a lot. I actually enjoyed the second one, even though it's not good.
Second and third are so derivative. It's just
I don't.
The second one is repetitive. The third one is so different.
The third one is so bad. It's my problem is I want to give it a D because of my mild enjoyment of the second one and my legitimate enjoyment and like the first one, but the third one is such absolute garbage where the whole history of the Hangover franchise and its diminishing results and how it affected comedy in film 2, I feel like E is probably a good placement for
also two things like one, the second one is definitely like a copy of the first one, and the third one
absolutely
it's like a Ken Jeong movie basically, not the whole crew. And the thing is, we like the Zach Galifianakis character less and less as the trilogy goes on. He becomes a jerk in the third movie. That just
something we talked about with the MCU when we did this the other day is the idea of being passively bad versus actively bad. Whereas like something can be passively bad where it's just there's nothing there's nothing good happening, so you're just kind of
there's actively bad
this
stuff.
is actively bad where they're doing bad things to like, make you go,
and I think and another thing is when we talk about how Hangover Part 2 has like it's literally just like a carbon copy of the first one, just in a new location, with some like meaner comedy elements in there. 3 years later, 22 Jump Street did the exact same thing, but showed how you can do the exact same thing to wild success.
Yeah, yes. Agree.
All right, Kung
Fu Panda. I've never seen any of these.
I like this.
I'd put it at B.
I would not say S tier.
No. Why do you put it at B?
Because I don't. I
it's
think
S tier.
It's not S tier because
I'm gonna let y'all fight.
People don't think about. There's no influence to Kung Fu Panda in the way that so many of these other film franchises are. To say that Kung Fu Panda's trilogy is better than the highs of the Spider-Man highs means that you're essentially saying that it's higher than Into the Spider-Verse. I think that Into the Spider-Verse alone means that it should be higher up than Kung Fu Panda. But I think that Kung Fu Panda also is a solid B franchise because it is good. It is not totally great overall, but I think that it doesn't have the influence that other franchises have. It also had another series of diminishing returns financially and critically as the films went on.
And
I think just for the future's sake,
in all three films, they have like.
I don't think it has a memorable villain in the third movie.
The second one's just Gary Oldman's a loud peacock, but like other than the idea of Gary Oldman as a peacock or whatever is like you get over that real quick.
Yeah, and for the sake of the future, let's not toss around the word perfect that freely.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Because because there's only one perfect film on this list, and that's
you're talking about rubber suits. I got an issue with that.
You're talking about The Godfather and The Godfather.
We're talking about Avengers Endgame, the greatest comic book movie of all time per the general debate. Okay, Nightmare on Elm Street. That's next.
I've only seen the first movie, so I can't say anything.
I've seen bits and pieces. It's a D or a C overall because of the aggressively diminishing returns throughout, with a couple of highs in the middle.
I've watched all of the films in this franchise. There are 3 good ones. The first one, Dream Warriors, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This is D. The rest are all just cartoonish, schlocky films.
But I have not seen any of those films.
I put it above Night at the Museum.
Yeah, have you seen any of these?
No, I don't really watch horror movies, so I'll need some help on all of those for sure.
Okay, can we talk real quick about The Mummy here? Because is that supposed to be... I don't think that's supposed to be The Mummy. I think that's supposed to be The Dark Universe, and that's not a franchise.
At this point, we're just deciding as we go. So if we want to do the Brendan Fraser Mummy, we could do that too. Who cares?
Ooh, we could talk about the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie.
Wait, that's what I thought it was. I thought we were talking about
like those
because that's a franchise.
Yeah, because the Tom Cruise is separate from the Brendan Fraser ones.
Well, no, I get that. I'm just saying because and yeah, you pointed out, but look at what the image is, but what could it actually be? I brought that up because the Mummy, the image itself, that is the logo for the Dark Universe. Tom Cruise, Alex Kurtzman.
But so I see the Audible though, even if that is the case, just because it's not really a franchise. With the other one, you have
no one wants to talk about
King, Mummy 2, whatever.
I have no fight to be honest in this one.
There's actually something to work with the original Mummy franchise.
Yeah, I think that
the first one is good.
And I like 2 of those.
First 2 are fun.
The first 2 are fun movies.
Right.
First one is a legitimately fun adventure film that is a really great
to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a really great successor to the Indiana Jones franchise. And the second one has some of that spark, but doesn't totally succeed. I haven't seen the third one, but everything I hear about it is that it's garbage. But I can't actually say.
Well, then you get the Scorpion King, which is like one of the single worst cinematic experiences to ever be created.
Why don't we put it at C because of everyone's the nostalgia?
I don't think it's more influential than Nightmare on Elm Street. I think Nightmare on Elm Street in the pop culture zeitgeist is a more influential franchise than Brendan Fraser's The Mummy.
The more I feel about it, the more I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street, just based on its legacy, should be at least.
You know what? This is one that I think we should come back to after we're finished.
Yeah, because the highs of Nightmare on Elm Street are pretty high. I mean, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is phenomenal. I think Dream Warriors is really good, and the first one is highly And
I think the legacy
of Freddy Krueger.
I think we should pick it up and put New Nightmare as a franchise above Hobbit, personally.
We'll come back.
Right smack dab in the sea.
You think so?
Yeah, I love it. Let's do it.
Do we really like Narnia here, by the way? I mean, I feel like every time we add something,
well, that was
like,
part of
Narnia's just
thing.
not that good.
Narnia is not great. No one likes it.
Like, why do I know nothing about Narnia? One. It feels like I should at least know something about it.
In that case, I'll just move it down to D.
Yeah, okay. We should actually put it at D because the more we talk about stuff versus how we want to talk about Narnia, it's exactly what when I mentioned like D for Night at Museum. It's a great level for like we just don't care. We just don't really care.
Right.
But it's not actively aggressively bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean
Games.
Oh boy, B.
C.
Dude, that seems low a little
B,
high.
High C. Low B, high C.
B feels
high C.
I mean,
high C.
Yeah, but higher than X-Men?
Yep, there. I actually like it there.
That's a good one right there. I've only watched the first one, by the way.
I can live.
I've only watched the first one. I've only watched the first one, but paying attention to box office, paying attention to the legacy and like how people have reacted to it and how it's affected YA novel adaptations in this post Harry Potter Twilight world. I kind of would put it below Nightmare, actually.
Here's the
question. I actually agree with that.
Here's the question. This really is, besides Harry Potter, this began this whole YA thing. You know,
I don't think that was a good thing.
No, I know it's not a good thing.
It came out. The first one came out the same year as the final Twilight film. Twilight's there was Harry Potter.
Twilight here,
Harry Potter kicked off YA, but it wasn't. Yeah, Harry Potter kicked off YA without there really being a kickoff to YA. No. Twilight is where they actually started like acknowledging we can do YA adaptations. And Hunger Games was the first big success. Hunger Games taught Hollywood all the wrong things. I would put it under Hobbit. Yeah,
I would too. I mean,
the reason why they split up Mockingjay because they saw how the Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows did well, so they said, "Oh, we should make this into 2 movies as well."
Right.
So,
all right, Rush Hour. Ooh,
I love Rush Hour. It is entertaining.
The third one's not good.
Alien. It's okay though, but it's okay. And the first 2 are good.
I think that some of its racial politics haven't aged very well, but otherwise, I really enjoyed the first 2. The third one, I actually didn't mind, but I also can easily acknowledge the second and third one are not good movies. I think it's a low C at best.
I would put it
right there.
Yeah, I was going to say
put it right there.
D, I feel feels good.
I'm fine with that right there.
I want to come back to that after we're finished. Actually,
that's fair.
I just want to move on.
All right, we got Rambo.
Rambo movies are not good. Only the first one is actually good. I just watched all of them last year in order to see Last Blood.
Me too.
And okay, there's some really sweet kills in like Rambo with the 50 cals, and the first film is like a legitimately like entertaining drama, but they're not good movies. They're really racist. They're
You mean he's racist?
He's racist, but then the film and how it treats it is just like, yes, let's indulge in murdering all these Mexicans and stuff like that is just, it's kind of just really gross. I don't like them. I think it's really unpleasant to watch them. I think that the first film and some of the kills in Rambo, in the fourth film, don't save it from being just a legitimately unpleasant experience.
Here's the thing. So the first one, I do agree. It is a heartfelt drama, hard-tugging drama. Mm-hmm. The second one, in my opinion, I thought it was a bit of fun. The third one is just boring as hell. The fourth one is a video game. And the Last Blood, I thought it was gross, to be honest. I did not want to see him pulling out the heart at the end.
Yeah, Zach, have you watched any of the Rambo films?
I saw some of them when I was like really young.
So, you know how you
remember,
acknowledge...
they just feel like quintessential sort of 80s shoot 'em up.
Yeah, so you know how you acknowledge the absurdity and like to a negative degree of Rocky, how you said that?
Yeah.
That's how I feel, but to like the umpteenth degree on the Rambo films. Yeah. They are absurd, but they are also horribly racist. They're not very well made.
Okay, here, hold on. Pardis, have you seen this? Rambo?
I've only seen the last one.
Okay, Monty?
I've seen all the Rambo films. I agree with everything you guys say. I don't think it's nearly as iconic as people think they are. The films are just shoot 'em up, schlocky action films.
I put it in.
I'd put it below. I'd put it below. Now, having said that, I'd put it below Night at the Museum in D, just because of the ultimate legacy that it's had on some action films. Because we're talking about it as a film franchise, and it is not. It's not as like I get angry about what they did to destroy this as I do Hangover. I just find Rambo gross, but there's enough legacy stuff that I think it needs to be about Hangover.
All right.
Okay. Godzilla.
All right. Now, how are we?
Yeah,
I'm
confused about this.
There are a lot of Godzilla movies.
I've only seen a couple, so I cannot.
Every incarnation of Godzilla, every studio, every
because it's in the what's the word called?
I'm not sure. They're effectively all bad, but I do like King of the Monsters. Kaiju films.
Yeah, they're effectively ultra super cheesy. I didn't think that King of the Monsters last year was that great. I thought that it actually.
I didn't like it.
So the 2014 one, everyone was like, "There's not enough fighting or whatever." I actually enjoyed that one. I thought that the characters were awful, but I thought that the way they did it, they pulled a Jaws on it, where you only get little bits until the huge payoff at the end. I thought that worked for me. And then they decided to go in the opposite direction, where they were like, great, we're going to give you all the fights. And it became too numbing. It became, it got to the point where I found it to be boring and just this cacophony of sound and color.
Yeah. It's basically visual noise in the second one.
Is it called Skull Island canon?
Ooh.
It is a good question.
Wait,
yeah, it is, but also all the
how are we acknowledging that? Are we acknowledging it with the current monster universe thing, or are we going to be doing Godzilla as a whole? Because this is our
we have a monster verse here.
I'm just saying because next year we have Kong versus Godzilla.
Hold on.
That's
a monarch. That's a monarch symbol.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then the monarch symbol
this has to just be
2014. That'll be the
all the rubber suit Godzilla.
And then that should be E, because they're just
just put it in E.
Let's just leave it. No one wants to fight over Godzilla.
Well, hold on. The thing is, though, we're so ambivalent towards it.
Yeah, the quick show.
Why would we have it below something we actively hate, like Hangover Part 2 or Rambo?
Because the first Hangover is actually very good.
For the sake of
the original Godzilla is incredibly influential, and I think that there's enough stuff to the legacy of it. It needs to be above some of these.
You know what? I want to put Rambo at E.
Hold on. We got a nice thing going here. We got this red, white, and black sort of first row here. So, I like it.
You know what? No.
And you know what? And for that matter, since Die Hard is the same colors,
that's a tough one. Man, that fifth one just really.
That fifth one is real bad. That fifth one is bad. The fourth one is okay. The second one is okay. The first one is S tier on its own. The third one is high A tier, almost S tier on its own.
I actually put the second one B tier.
What?
But I would say I would agree with you that S tier definitely the first one.
Second one is like low B tier, but then you have an S tier in the first one, you have a high A tier to almost S tier in the third one, you have a C tier in the fourth one, you have an F tier in the fifth one, and I think as a result, you got to think about how the franchise as a whole has also impacted the action film genre, and as a result, I think it probably ultimately deserves a B tier overall.
I would say low B.
It does kind of create the blueprint for sort of like the modern action.
Yeah. So I'd say, I know that you really want to put it in the first lane, in the first column there. I think
we got to be honest. This one is just atrocious.
Above Harry Potter, unfortunately, it has A Good Day to Die Hard, which is just
you would want
garbage.
To Die Hard above Harry Potter?
No. Harry Potter's over Die Hard.
Harry Potter hasn't had enough time to really
grow. But I think the influence that Harry Potter has had on popular culture,
and I think that
put it above
Die Hard.
We had a freaking commercial this year.
But as a film franchise, Monty, or just as
the franchise is what affected the franchise is the ripple effect that affected everything that came from it. Harry Potter franchise was so influential just in general when it came out.
But not the film franchise. I mean, the film franchise was huge, but the film franchise was huge as a result of the book franchise.
I don't care about either of those franchises enough to die on this hill. I have my hills that I'm going to die on later.
I support Zach's comment in saying that Die Hard essentially created the blueprint for the modern action film. It's not just the idea of what it does for pop culture in that, because pop culture is not necessarily a good thing. I think that what it did for an entire genre is groundbreaking, and the legacy is less than 20 years old. So I think that a 35-year-old legacy is better than a 20-year legacy. No, there's not.
As much as I would love for you guys to give me money, no, there is no Streamlab for this.
Venmo him at Zach Daddy.
That's exactly right. How'd you know that? Okay, there it is. Liam has spoken. So
Liam has spoken. As you know, Liam only has good opinions.
It's settled. Okay, now we get into the MonsterVerse.
Okay, I have no fight on
that's
E. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all.
You think it's E? Really?
Yeah, I don't think King of the Monsters is good, and I think the first Godzilla is nowhere near as good enough or influential enough to put it above a lot of these films or franchises. Really, the monster, like if we're talking about the new Monarch monster franchise itself,
I mean, we're talking Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Kong.
I put it at D under Rush Hour.
I like that too because
I actually enjoy watching the Rush Hour movies.
Can we move Rambo down just for the sake of shape?
You know what? Move Rambo to E.
Whoa.
Please.
We'll get to shape later. Okay. Get to shape later.
Stop flirting with me, Zach. God damn it. Let's get back to the list. All right, Aliens.
Okay, the first two Aliens are great. Okay, leave it at that. Now, how much do you all enjoy Alien 3?
I haven't seen it, and I'm going to watch it before Mank comes out.
So I watched all of these also earlier this year. And frankly, I think there's like two of them that I thought were legitimately bad.
Covenant and Resurrection.
Covenant,
right?
Resurrection.
I thought was an aggressively dumb movie. I thought it was so
dull.
Dumb. It was dull, but also dumb. I was actively annoyed while watching it. And then I fell asleep before the end because it bored me to death at the end. But the first film on its own is S tier. The second film is S tier. The third film, I don't have an opinion on. I've seen a lot of the fourth film.
That's an F tier. That's Resurrection.
It's really bad.
Resurrection is like
I was thinking Revelation, but that's bad. Silent Hill. But yeah, so then the fourth one is bad. Prometheus is.
I like
Prometheus.
To me, those are passable. Those are like passable.
Yeah, Prometheus has a lot of interesting ideas. It doesn't totally come together, even though it's gorgeously filmed.
And Michael Fassbender as David is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
So the problem is
I think it's A.
I think it's high B because of how much it drops off. This is a tough
call. I think I would say low A because the first two films really influenced the sci-fi. And we got Ripley.
I put it above John Wick, and the reason for that is I prefer John Wick to the Alien franchise, but I also have to acknowledge what Alien has done for science fiction versus John Wick, which has only been around for 6 years and has just had some cool action movies.
Yeah, and Ripley's one of the best,
but the horror genre too.
Yeah. Ripley's one of the best not
science
just
fiction and horror. Yes.
Yeah, and Ripley's not just one of the best female characters in history, but one of the best best characters in history.
Absolutely.
Best characters in history too. So,
all right, guys.
Twilight.
We need to put a stake through this. This is garbage. Don't listen to Ben and Drew. It's not C tier. Put this as far low as we can put this. This is a terrible franchise.
So here's what I'll say.
It was not bad.
Here's what I'll say. I've only seen the first Twilight film. I've read the books, and from my understanding, the movies are at least fairly close to the books. If that's true, it is low E, I'd say. I think that it's better than Resident Evil just on the pure incompetence of the filmmaking abilities of the Resident Evil films versus what some of the work people like Bill Condon did in Twilight from what I've seen of the little clips and stuff. I think that it shouldn't be full F. It's not good, but we have to acknowledge some of the positive and negative effects that it's had on YA.
Really quick, I've seen all the Twilight films. I'm embarrassed to admit that I've seen them after watching them.
Me too.
They are terrible films, and they deserve to be F tier. You can put them above Resident Evil if you want, but these are F tier films if I've ever seen them.
May I? Okay.
I think they're F tier also.
Okay. May I? Okay, so yes, I cannot make a case for Resident Evil. But with Twilight, the first one's garbage. The second one's garbage. Third one, fourth one, garbage. And the fifth one is actually the best one, but it's just not saying much. But yeah, just leave it there. At least they're better than 50 Shades. I'll give you that. But it's
you know what? I'll give you that one too. And we would also put that in the F tier. But Twilight,
it's not there, so thank God.
You are right where you belong, buddy. Congratulations. Moving on.
Pardis, you got any strong opinions one way or the other?
Well, y'all gonna hate me. Well, not hate me. I actually enjoy the Twilight franchise.
Oh man.
The books or the movies?
The movies.
Okay, make your case, please.
I don't know.
He just said he likes it.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's just
enjoyable.
Right. And sometimes you just can't explain it. There's something about them that you like.
I don't know. Something about these movies. Like, I know everyone hates Robert Pattinson. Like, not hate him, but like how he acted. But like, I thought he was a good Edward.
Is that Sharknado?
That is Sharknado.
I mean, Sharknado's
no
above
opinion
Twilight.
on this one.
Sharknado's above Twilight.
Sharknado was above Twilight.
I don't like Shark. I've only watched the first Sharknado, and what I dislike the most about it is that the charm of films like Birdemic or The Room and those sort of things, Plan 9, is that they don't know they're making a bad film. So what they make is with the utmost sincerity. Mm-hmm. What I hate the most about the Sharknado films, and I've only watched the first one and I did not have a desire to watch the others, is how they are intentionally trying to hit all of those beats. And in doing so, they hit none of them. And it's just aggressively unpleasant. And most of all, the worst sin, it's boring. And I think that because of that, I think that it needs to be above Twilight and Resident Evil because it's not the worst thing in the world because it's too boring for me to actually hate it more than other things.
I feel like we have to take the filmmakers at their word on this, which is they set out to make a truly horrible movie and they succeeded. And we should honor their wishes by putting it at the very bottom of this
You're
list.
Right. So salute Sharknado, you're garbage. Transformers, speaking of garbage.
Oh, God. Transformers. F.
There's a beautiful hole in E, right?
I was going to say.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. The first one's
needs
not
to go.
E.
Yeah, the first one is okay, and Bumblebee is a legitimately good movie.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right, E.
But because of the lows, it is a high E.
Okay.
Those sequels gave me headaches.
I mean, the first one was kind of like pretty groundbreaking in sort of the visual effects side of things as far as what they did on screen and sort of how just the look of the Transformers was bringing those to life was incredible. But it was just everything from that point up until.
And then Revenge of the Fallen, which I saw twice in theaters, by the way, the midnight premiere, and then a week later in IMAX, and I thought it was cool when I was 16 years old. I watched that, and even then I was like, all these Transformers look the same because that's what happened to that, and it's they're just really bad. Michael Bay is not a good filmmaker, but let's move on.
The sequels the sequels are Michael Bay's robotic wet dreams. That's basically it.
How to Train Your Dragon.
At least an A. At least an A.
I've never seen. So
at least an A.
A.
So you think Panda?
They're all at least good.
Yes, they're far and away above Kung Fu Panda.
Huh? Yes, actually, I would agree. Actually, I would put it above. I would say A. But that's a tough call where to put it, though.
I think that
I put above John Wick.
Yeah, I'd put it above John Wick and no higher.
Wow.
Is that another DreamWorks movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's another DreamWorks. It's another DreamWorks.
Really hates DreamWorks.
Yeah, she's very.
Well, we're coming on to another one soon. So.
Illumination.
Okay, Star Trek.
Right.
To me, this is very much in the mold of like a 007, where it's a lot of movies.
I've seen
a few good ones. Most of them boring and just sort of like not a lot going on.
All right, let's see if we can go through it real quick. Star Wars the motion picture or Star Trek the motion picture is
it's terrible.
Star Trek is
It is so slow.
It's heavy-handed in its approach, and it's nauseating.
Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan is very good.
That was the Dark Knight basically at that time.
And then, and then Search for Spock is okay. It was
all right. Yeah.
It's okay.
And
then the Voyage Home is.
I love Voyage Home.
Voyage Home is S tier, and then Final Frontier is garbage beyond garbage.
Yeah. Yep.
And then comes
Undiscovered Country.
Undiscovered Country. I find it's another S tier. I love Undiscovered Country. I love Undiscovered Country.
It holds up.
That one there, it works so well for me. And then after that comes Generations, which I haven't seen.
It's good.
But everything I've heard about it is it seems to have a growing estimation as time goes on, but still not great. Like Generations on its own seems like a high. Then First Contact I've heard is very good.
It's really good.
And then comes Insurrection, which is
it's forgettable. It's forgettable.
Insurrection weird, man.
Yeah, and then the very first Star Trek thing, I ever saw, had no idea what I was watching. I was brought to the theater to be shown Nemesis. And at the time, I'm like, this is cool, and I've never watched it again in the last 18 years.
Tom Hardy.
And then after that comes Star Trek 09, which is
fantastic,
really good. Now, here's what I'll say about Into Darkness. A lot of it works. The twist and the use of Khan and the magic blood at the end does not work. There's still a lot of good stuff in it, but unfortunately, there's a lot of story stuff towards the end that makes a lot of it fall off. But there's still a lot of great stuff that people don't acknowledge in it. Star Trek Beyond, I think, is the best one of the new ones. I think it's one of my favorite ones of the entirety, and I think that it feels the most like modern. Like modern filmmaking, making a feature-length version of an original series.
I would say this. I would think
it's somewhere.
I would put it at B. I would say B.
I can't speak on Kung Fu Panda, but to me, it's somewhere here. It's definitely better than 007, despite being very similar to me.
I'd put it below Harry Potter because some of the
there.
Yeah, I put it below Harry Potter.
The thing is, I put it a beat also because of Star Trek 2009. It introduced a new wave of followers of Star Trek, like wanting to go back and watch the original series and the movies and whatnot, and it was that good.
Yeah. No, So I think I personally am a fan of all three of the new ones, even with the big problems in the second one. But I think mid B is really good.
Yeah. Well, Nikki's next favorite franchise, Shrek.
Now there are 5 films, and there are 5 films in that franchise.
Yes.
Don't forget about Puss. There's 5. Puss in Boots.
Oh,
great.
Still,
I mean, we have to reward them for giving Smash Mouth the job.
No way. It is not S tier. It has Shrek. Shrek 1 is good. Shrek 2 is great. Shrek 3 is Shrek 4 no one even remembers, and Puss in Boots.
Like Shrek 3.
Not even you remembered Puss in Boots.
Yes, I do.
It's good that Pardis is here to counteract my disdain for animated movies with his just
Pardis loves animation so much.
I think that it should be.
He's in a group full of cynics.
I think it should be high B, low A. That's my opinion overall.
That's way too high.
I think the biggest problem.
Way too high.
Patrick Gibson wants somebody to fight him. So
I don't.
This is a tough one.
My problem is that
behind Spider-Man.
My problem is that the Shrek films had a horrifically negative impact on animated films as we know them, thanks to after what Robin Williams did with pop culture, with what Disney did in the 90s.
I don't agree with Alex. The first one is that good. I mean,
the first one is good.
But are we saying that Shrek is more influential than X-Men as a franchise, though?
No, of course not. But does it have better quality across the board? Perhaps.
The second one has I Need a Hero.
Isn't a movie.
But it also has Smash Mouth.
It does have a great version.
The second one has I Need a Hero.
Okay, let's look at another animated. So Kung Fu Panda. Better.
I like it more than Kung Fu Panda.
Okay.
Actually.
I think Kung Fu Panda was too high as it is, but all right, fine.
Okay, How to Train Your Dragon, better or worse?
No.
No, high.
So we're somewhere in here then.
You can't put it above Spider-Man.
You can't put it above some of those. I actually think that the thing is, all 3 Kung Fu Panda films are good. You can't say that about all the Shrek films.
No,
that's true. Go behind Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Shrek the Third may not be that good, but Shrek the Fourth saves it. That's how I feel.
But here's the thing: all Kung Fu Panda movies are good. Shrek the Third is bad. So,
okay.
Sorry.
All right, this is the argument we have to have. Are we going to reward one revolutionary film for 2 bad sequels? Because the sequels are atrocious.
Here's the problem.
Does one film outweigh the 2 bad ones?
Sorry.
Even the coolest stuff that we thought, like at the time of Matrix Reloaded, like the whole courtyard fight, you watch it nowadays, they're all like gummy characters just rolling around because it doesn't hold up as much visually speaking. It definitely doesn't hold up story much, like for those who actually kind of enjoyed it at first. Because I remember when watching Reloaded and then thinking, oh, cool. Well, I guess everything will work out and it'll make sense in the next one. Yeah. And then it definitely didn't.
The thing is, here's the problem with the sequels. It's like the Matrix, great movie, but the sequels is like you need a SparkNotes book after those sequels to find out like what the heck happened here. I mean,
the Matrix trilogy is the opposite of the Godfather trilogy. The Godfather has 2 S tiers and then one that is controversial at best, and to most people, and it is the opposite situation for the Matrix. Whereas 2. Yeah.
I liked where you put it. I liked where you were hovering at, Zach. I would put it at a high C tier.
I think you have to reward it for
the first one. But
like you can't just.
But we can't ignore how bad the second and third one affected the legacy of the Matrix as a franchise.
Absolutely.
We're not grading the first film, we're grading the franchise.
Yeah,
that's true, but I mean, you have to weight. You got to weight it somehow, right? I mean, the whole reason it's a franchise to begin with is because of what the first movie was able to do.
It was so revolutionary. Even the special effects were revolutionary at that time.
Okay, you know what? I'm comfortable with leaving it there for now. And then when we close
the Friday the 13th franchise.
Okay. Has anyone but me seen all of these films?
No, sir.
Nope.
Okay, there's like 13 films in this franchise. They're all pretty bad.
There's 12. There's 12. It's very frustrating. Yeah, there's only 12.
Wonderful. A rebuttal to the rebuttal. Okay.
They're all bad. But they're still fun films. Nowhere near as influential to me, I think, as Nightmare on Elm Street, and the quality is not up there either. So I'd put it below that. So anywhere
Alex and I are gonna have a talk tonight.
Happy for me.
I don't have an opinion on it because
I don't have an opinion on this.
I one time on one afternoon when I was much younger, I watched half of Jason Takes Manhattan on television. I thought it was very dumb, but I haven't seen the other one, so I can't judge. No,
here's the thing: he's not taking Manhattan.
I know it's like the last 10 minutes, but I have seen one film in both those. I have seen Freddy vs. Jason, which is a legitimately fun horror film, but that's. That's not enough.
You have Jason X, and then you have The New Beginning, and you have 3 films.
Jason X. Jason X is awful, and I enjoyed every minute that I watched of it.
Friday the 13th is nowhere near as high as Nightmare on Elm Street, in my opinion.
Monty, make the call. Where do you think it should go?
I think it's fine right there, sir. Right here? Just drop it right there. Yeah. Okay. Avatar. Now, does this include Pocahontas? Because they're the same film.
I'm telling you, I will not. I know that you guys are gonna. Maybe you're fine keeping it. I don't think that Avatar should actually be ranked because right now it's a single film.
Yeah,
I agree. You know what? Let's put it in A.
Yeah, because we're judging the legacy of franchises as well as the quality of the franchises.
Yeah,
that's still only one film. We can't judge it as a franchise yet.
Yeah. Okay, Men in Black. Okay, are we including international?
Yeah.
One good.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the
problem. Internet. The problem I have with international is that it's not horrible. It's not great. It's nothing.
Horrible.
It's nothing.
It's horrible.
It's
that puts it in this sort of D tier.
Forget about
it. Monty, is it better than Friday the 13th, Monty?
The first one is A, and the third one is a low B. The second one is a D. Yes. And the fourth one is a low D. So the problem is you put that together, it comes up to a low C, high D, I think.
Is the second one that bad? I thought it's
the second one is bad.
I don't think it. You know what? in defense of Hunger Games fans, I don't think it's better than Hunger Games. I honestly think the Rush Hour trilogy is better than the first three.
So it actually kind of maps pretty nicely with Rush Hour. Both of them kind of have like a good.
Right there. Let's answer Alex here. Alex, this is the tier list. What Alex just put in the chat there. This is just the tier list options from the website, and we're using the same one that Drew and Ben use. So I don't even know why Avatar, but there's only one film in it, so it shouldn't even be on there because the second one hasn't come out yet. You can't judge it as a franchise.
Yeah, who made this list thing?
Some other idiot on the internet that wasn't us idiots on the internet right now.
Some other internet idiot.
I'm just a guess. I'm
gonna make a lot of enemies right now.
Okay. Oh, this is where we fight here.
A lot of enemies.
This is where we fight.
All right. Here's what I'm going to say right off the bat. The newer Fast and the Furious stuff does all of the insane stunt-driven action movie stuff as good as any franchise that exists, including Mission Impossible, which we have at the very top of A. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
The
problem.
And the very first one is also, as far as I'm concerned, a classic movie for people that were maybe my age. I think most of you guys are all younger than I am, but people who were sort of beginning to drive or have friends that are driving at that time, it was like an epic movie, incredible. And I like my college roommates and I would watch this movie every other day. So there's a couple bad ones in there, even though I like them, but they're not great. But to me, this is absolutely an A tier franchise.
Here's what I'll say. I think it definitely got better when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was introduced. Fast 5,
which was the fifth film.
Yeah,
franchise.
But either it's good or bad. It's very difficult to say, to be honest. Okay, let's just say this. The first one is actually kind of fun. It is fun. Second one, I don't remember it too well. I know they're in Miami.
They're in Miami. Yeah. They work for a drug dealer. They jump. They jump a car onto a boat. It's fucking incredible.
Okay, then third, obviously, is Tokyo Drift. They're drifting.
Then you have Fast and Furious,
starring Lucas Black.
Starring Lucas Black.
Everyone knows Lucas Black. He's everyone's favorite actor.
Right. Yeah. Then you get Fast and Furious.
Not good.
In the franchise.
I don't like that movie.
That's
and
about
Fast 5 is. Yeah, Fast 5 is actually really good, actually.
So we're saying that any of these Fast and the Furious films are better than Into the Spider-Verse?
No, but I think like as a collection.
I'm surprised we're not fighting. I thought we were going to fight about this one, to be honest.
So here's the deal. I think that individual films, the series is a mixed bag of it's very dumb, but also a lot of the dumb is the insanely entertaining dumb. I think that altogether there are just other franchises that are better, and there are many more that are much worse. I really enjoy watching all of them, even the aggressively bad ones like Too Fast, Too Furious. But I think that we can't put it higher than some of stuff like Spider-Man yet, because
I wouldn't put it ahead of Spider-Man.
I wouldn't even put it ahead of Harry Potter.
Or Star Trek. Or Star Trek. I don't think I would put it ahead of Star Trek.
I would probably put it exactly. I put it behind Star Trek, above Kung Fu Panda, because I think that when you think of these movies and you think of the epitome of a dumb action movie, there's a great phrase, because I've listened to like critically acclaimed podcasts with Bibbs and Whitney a bunch, and they've talked about this thing
right there.
a 4-star, 3-star movie. A lot of these movies are the best version of what a 3-star movie is, and I think that it's a solid B overall. I don't think that it's any better, and I think it's definitely not worse. And so as a result of solid B, I think it has to go right under Star Trek.
In the middle of B, actually, is a nice placement. Yeah. Behind Star Trek.
I don't think I can, in good faith, put it behind Star Trek. Like it just
Why
it doesn't
not?
miss. It doesn't miss as often as Star Trek does.
It doesn't.
I mean, you've got 50% of the catalog.
It's by a hair.
You're right about it. You're right about it hitting better than Star Trek. But then we've also discussed, and we should probably keep it in mind, the idea of legacy and stuff. And when we talk about what a film franchise has done for things, I think that Star Trek has done much more as a franchise than Fast and Furious has for its respective genre.
I'm having a hard time squaring Mission Impossible all the way up here at the top of A, where the Fast and the Furious, the last 5 movies, do everything that a Mission Impossible film does as good.
That's true. It's just a matter of all the stuff that came before it, which is why it's lower then.
But the first one is like
I'm not as big a fan of the first one.
Classic.
I think the first one is a pale imitation of Point Break.
I think it's it's an upgrade of Point Break.
Oh, that hurt. Oh.
Let's
ask John Lestrino what he thinks.
No, we don't need to listen to. We don't need to hear John. We don't need John. We don't need John. I think
artist. What do you think, or Monty?
I think I like it exactly where it is. I think it's perfect. I think we've given enough favor to fans of the franchise to put it high enough on this list to satiate their hunger for nonsensical, improbable science and nonsense. But I'm very comfortable with where we have it, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Let's move on.
The Bourne franchise.
Oh God, this is tough.
See, it's bad because there's 3 good films, 3 okay to good films, and then you have 2 very bad films.
The first, second, and third are like
good.
They're
really
like
good.
They're like low A, high A, S tier, and then Legacy. I haven't seen Legacy, but everyone seems to think it's around like a C. And I think Jason Bourne is just a misfire. C. It is a low C, and because it's not good. The Jason Bourne, but the other 3, especially Ultimatum.
I would go at B too. I would put it.
Put it at B, but I would put it below Fast and Furious for sure. I put it above Kung Fu Panda, below Star Trek.
Zach, what do you think?
I'm happy with anywhere here. Again, I think it's got to be above 007.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got as many good entries as 007 does, essentially.
There's only 5.
You know what? Right. I would put it between actually ahead of Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, there's good.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Artist, does that make you very upset?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna type up like a 20-page thesis on animated film.
I'm gonna throw Artist a bone here. Okay.
You know what? That's fine. It's fine because the problem is the highs of Bourne Ultimatum are met with the lows, and unfortunately, when a high and a low collide, you kind of get stuck in the middle with
that one.
Okay, the Terminator. Now this one is like, if you want to talk about high ceiling, low floor,
there's like 2 good films in this franchise.
The Terminator. The problem is that they shouldn't have kept making movies.
Right.
Yeah.
They just kept trying to find their way back and just kept veering further and
there are 2 good movies.
I'm so sad about this
and I kind of like Dark Fate, but it's just not great. And Rise of the Machines is not great, but it's not awful. And Salvation's biggest sin is that it's boring. Yeah, and also it's directed by McG, who is just a bad filmmaker.
So it's got to be worse. Horrible. It's got to be worse than Alien because it's basically the same on the top end, but it gets way worse on the bottom end.
It's not an A tier because there's only 2 good movies out of 6 films. Because remember, we haven't even mentioned Genesis.
Right.
Oh God,
Genesis. Terminator Genesis.
I think that as a franchise, the problem is that it was an S tier for the first 2 films, and each film afterwards just keeps dropping it. It is unfortunately, as a franchise, regardless of how, because remember, The Matrix is great, and then it has 2 bad sequels, and now it's a C+ in our tier ranking. We have 2 good movies, and then we have 4 bad movies here, and I think that the average is about the same when you do that math. But I think that the legacy as a franchise is more negative for Matrix. So I think it should be for Terminator than Matrix. I think it should be below Matrix.
I agree.
I'm fine with that.
I agree too. Like it's like a stock market sheet. It's basically it's like you're going high and then went low. Dark Fate, okay, a little bit.
But unfortunately, Dark Fate made about half the amount of money that it needed to make in order for it to almost break even.
Okay. Yet another example of highs and lows. The first 3 Mad Max movies, the first one in particular is so incredibly boring. It's almost good. It's almost unwatchable. Nothing happens.
First one is boring, but the second one is actually pretty good. The third one, I haven't seen. I can't speak to it. But we also have to acknowledge what Mad Max
Road.
Fury Road is incredible.
Here's the deal about it.
It's like the opposite of the Matrix. If you think about it.
Well, the problem with the other thing we have to acknowledge for it as a franchise is its influence on the post-apocalyptic genre.
Right.
True.
And as a result, I think it is at least a B based on everything it's done as a series. I think the individual films haven't been as impactful, but the amount of stuff that has popped up in other films because of what they did in Mad Max shows it should be at least a B. I think that it should be above Jason Bourne.
I see it. To me, it just doesn't have. It only has one good entry.
I thought it was 2.
You say that. I don't Road
like
Warrior
either. Yeah, because Road Warrior doesn't really even fit with.
Yeah, but Road Warrior
kind of just does a switch up on you.
It's like a high budget first movie, basically.
Yeah, but the deal is the Mad Max films are not canonical in like 1, 2, 3, 4. They're Legend of Zelda, man. They're stories about a guy.
Sure.
They're just they're legends. He goes from place to place and gets into all sorts of shenanigans. I think that overall, Jason Bourne has done some good stuff for the action genre, but I think Mad Max has done a lot more. And also, none of the Jason Bourne films are Fury Road.
That's absolutely
true. Sure. You know, Fury Road was my favorite movie of that year. So, yeah.
But we also have to remember, no one goes out of their way to watch the older ones as much. But we do have to acknowledge that outside of Fury Road, before Fury Road, Road Warrior had been on many of the best sequels of all time's lists, at least from what I can recall, but never near the top of it. It's always been recognized. I think Road Warrior is also at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah, this is basically the only one I own, the only Mad Max movie I own. So
I have two things in Mad Max Fury Road. I don't have the old ones.
Yeah. So
okay, so we're all agreement. It's fine.
Yeah.
Artist, it's fine. Animated. State your case. Let's go, bud.
You go first.
What you got?
I swear to God,
go
you
on.
say S tier.
Defend Blue Sky. You scoundrel.
I think this is in the B tier. Okay, let me finish first. And
okay, hold on. Just look at what's in B tier now. We got Shrek.
Yeah, we have a lot of animated ones.
The first 3 are good. I haven't seen the rest of them to make that argument. So first one is good quality. Second one is good. Third one is still good. I don't even know what the 4th or the 5th or how many others there are.
There's 5, I think. There's 5. It ends with Collision Course.
There's Ice Age, The Meltdown, Dawn of Dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you guys know in Tropic Thunder, where they're doing the mock trailers at the beginning, and you see Tug Speedman doing like the ice
Scorcher.
Scorcher. This time it's frozen and stuff like that.
Again.
The Ice Age series makes me think of that.
It's a B.
So here's what I would like to point out. Pardis is defending it as a B, and he couldn't even remember discussing 40% of the films in it.
Right.
Yes.
No, it's like
so. The first one is good. The first one is a very enjoyable film.
Yeah.
And most of them have made a lot of money. and then there was a significant drop off at the end.
There's a big drop off,
and critically as well, the way that people actually like them. You don't think about Ice Age now when you think of great animated films in terms of where people rank them. I think that at best, as a franchise, it is a mid to low C at best. I don't think it's a D. I think it's right there at C.
Well, yeah,
I was going to say, if it was the first three, I'll put it at B. But since we're including the other ones, I would also say it's a C.
There we go.
Perfect.
That's fair.
Perfect.
I've seen all
guys. These are trash.
Underworld.
These are F tier.
I've only seen the first one, so I can't say much.
These are on the same par as Resident Evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen one of the sequels, but
I saw one, and all I know is that
Ocean's
it had
11.
a lot of leather. Had a lot of leather in it.
We still got a lot to go, so I'm making a quick decision. I'm making a very quick decision.
Oh, Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11. I'm a sucker for a heist movie.
We have 4 movies.
4 films.
Yep.
There's 4 films.
11,
First
12,
one is,
13, and 8.
Okay, so
11 is S tier.
Yes.
12 is high C because it's really weird, but you can kind of vibe with it, but it's not that great.
Enjoyable.
Yeah, that's why I said high C. 13 I think is a solid B to B plus, but nothing more. And I am not a fan of Ocean's 8. Actually, I found it to be kind of flat. It didn't have the Soderbergh style. I think that Ocean's 8 was a C. I think that overall, because of the up and down, I think that the franchise as a whole is probably a B.
Because of the significance of that first movie. It's so great, that camaraderie between all of the members of the 11. So
let's think about it as a heist movie franchise, right? What this does for heist movies, like when you talk about heist movies, does your mind go anywhere else other than than these?
No.
To me, I mean, there's a lot to be said.
It's the ultimate heist film. It's the ultimate. I think that.
We're talking heist film in general, or the franchise?
The genre. The influence on the genre.
Right.
I thought I think there's like one film that is better, Heat, in my opinion, but basically this is second. Ocean's 11.
Yeah, but that's more of an action film that has a heist in it, more so than you think of heist. This is heist from the ground up. Mm-hmm. This film is also like the first film is also you think of how cool Brad Pitt is in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and the film evokes that entire mood.
Yeah, basically it does. I mean, it was strong. The whole the trilogy itself was strong enough for it to make a spin off Ocean's 8.
Yeah,
and
what is that?
I found Ocean's 8 totally inoffensive. I thought it was.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
It was fine. It was fine.
What is, by the way, what is that there? Because for whatever reason, I don't remember what it is between Spider-Man and Harry Potter. What's that middle one?
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Okay, it's hard to see it. I think that it's
behind. Oh God.
I'd put it.
It's B tier for me, but
I'd put it behind Fast and Furious.
Oh, you want to put it in A tier?
Yeah. You'd really?
It just stands apart in the genre so much that it feels.
How much do you like 12?
I mean, I enjoy all of them, including 8. I mean, I'm a sucker for heist movies, and these kind of do it the best, even when they're not
like
great.
The first and third enough, but I'm so
8's fine.
I'd put it at above Spider-Man instead of keep it out of A, but put it above Spider-Man.
Alvin the Chipmunks after that. We'll get back to it.
Alvin the Chipmunks is F.
Wait,
100%.
There's 5. I know it's low, the low letters, but there's 5 movies, not 4.
In what?
Alvin and Chipmunks.
Yeah, but they're all.
I
love Alvin and Chipmunks. I love Alvin and Chipmunks, but they're bad.
Okay. The first one is okay. The second one is a little low. The third one is not good.
Okay, this next one. Okay, this next one we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna phase out.
This is the show. Let's do it.
I'm gonna phase out of this because I haven't seen any of these. Well, I've seen one movie, but that's it. So good luck, fellas.
High S tier. Let's go.
You're talking about it as a franchise. You're talking about it when you got to think of the actual quality of the films itself and not just your love of the material. The first film is awesome.
Yes, it is.
The second film has Go Ninja Go.
Yes, it does.
And the third film has the entire budget ripped away.
Wait, you're getting TMNT.
And it's still fun. And it also includes TMNT, which is amazing, which is a great film.
You're saving Yoshi from the fire. You got
Yoshi.
You got time travel.
Scepter. You got the Leonardo just ducking in his turtle shell to dodge the
dragon ball. You have the discovery of Donatello being a fraud.
100%. 100%.
All right, so here's the deal. Outside of using TMNT as a bit in the chats, talking about it as a franchise, I think it's a high C.
All right, I think me and Zach are going to use our veto here to put it.
I mean,
you got to give respect to the other franchises ahead of TMNT. Come on.
Let's talk a little bit about shape here, okay?
It's Zach's show.
We can save it for last. If
we put it in A, the shape is much more satisfying.
Wait, how about this? Ready? How about this? Put it in NA because you find that it transcends actually ranking it.
No. We got it.
No. We're not here for this. We're not here for this.
I could have tried. I tried.
What the fuck is this?
Listen, you have a movie.
You knew he was a fraud the whole time?
You have a movie that goes out of its way to color code its 4 main characters for you. That, to me, is just expert filmmaking.
Do I really need to watch the franchise?
The theme song literally tells you their personalities.
It's like, what more do you need? Pizza, bro. Cowabunga.
Cowabunga. Pizza.
It introduced the world to Cowabunga, like nunchucks. Like no one wants to use a bow staff because that's a fucking fraud weapon. But size, those are dope.
Who didn't have nunchucks as a kid, and why did you have them? Because of the turtles.
Because of the fucking turtles.
Yeah, why don't you make a T tier just for turtles?
In between S and A, the T tier.
No. Okay,
you can make a tier.
Honestly, where would y'all put it? I cannot have any word on this.
Okay. As much as I
be honest
and invested in the Turtleverse, realistically, I mean, it's probably like in C tier somewhere.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I can live with it there. But we also got to remember this also includes Batman vs. the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is an awesome film. But I'm fine with it being there.
Yeah, I mean, at least it gets more respect than Ben and Drew did.
You know that I would have been okay with you creating a separate tier for T, as Patrick put in the chat, and just having Turtles there on its own thing. But I respect that you are respecting the tier making, the tier system.
I gotta respect.
Cars. Cars E.
Cars are bad, right?
The first one is good. I haven't seen the second one. I haven't seen the third one.
2 is horrible.
I get it, but the third one is also supposed to be all right, and the first one is good. The first one is a legitimately good DreamWorks quality film. Excuse me, made by Pixar. I think that as a whole, it's probably it's above Ice Age, but somewhere in the low C range as a franchise.
Okay, Hardest, we got to bring you back, the animation expert. What do you think about Cars?
There is no such thing as a second one.
Wow.
That's
big. That's a big statement right there.
Yeah, but we're also talking about the other 2 films because that's only one.
I love the first one. The third one is a Rocky type film.
But I see.
You're describing.
The third one is it's redeemable than the second one.
Okay, wait. Just to back up, you said that it's a Rocky type film, but that's more of a describing the story of it. But can you explain? Can you give more of a qualitative analysis?
The quality of it, like the first trailer we got, was so dark that it's supposed to like the tone of the film. But
Cars 3 is like Rocky 3, basically.
Yeah, there's a new vehicle or a new character to take over for to be the next great racer.
Right.
I agree with Patrick on that one.
That's a story there. I'm asking, do you like the third one? Is it good? Is it enjoyable?
It's highly enjoyable than the second one. That's all I'm going to say.
Where do you rank it relative to something like Ice Age?
I would go. Here's what I would say. I would go above Ice Age, to be honest. I don't know why we have 4 sequels to Ice Age.
Because the third one was the most was the highest grossing animated film of all time when it first came out, with nearly $900 million worldwide. So they had to make more.
I do want to, before we get too far away, I want to highlight this comment from the People's Champ and just how incredible it is in Secret of the Ooze when Leonardo is holding on to 2 swords and punching people. It's so good.
With that being said, can I also bring up the fact that Michelangelo has the tactical foresight to use Italian cold cuts as nunchaku? Like that just shows his level of training and the seriousness and detail these filmmakers put into this film. I agree, Zach. God damn it, man.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Can we wait? Can we now detail what films go into that? Because
this looks like the DCEU.
All right, so DCEU means
it's so inconsistent.
It's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Shazam, Aquaman. And that's it so far. 6 films. So Man of Steel is bad.
Whoa.
It's okay.
We're gonna fight. Man
of Steel is a bad film that does a horrible job representing what Superman is. I think that the final battle is about 25 minutes too long.
It's better than Transformers, right?
It's better than Transformers. Oh, it's absolutely better than Transformers. The problem is that there's also BVS. Okay, so I think it needs to go. It can't go in E. It absolutely can't.
Okay,
because you have Wonder Woman, you have Shazam. You have okay. I like Aquaman. I like Aquaman, but that's a movie that I can easily see people disliking and totally understand. For me, I think that it took let's throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And for whatever reason, it worked for me, and I can see it easily not working for others. So I wouldn't argue the quality of that film with other people.
Okay, but when I was hearing your analysis of this DCU franchise, you know what it was missing? That was good. The Justice League and Batman versus Superman. You know, those type of movies are not the best. Those are actually the worst, and that's bad because
they're garbage.
Yeah, because they're building up to those movies where
Zack Snyder's not a good filmmaker.
And
everyone knows Zack Snyder is the most influential filmmaker of all time. He makes nothing but great movies.
Yeah, all right, you soy boy cuck.
Like Watchmen. I mean, like Watchmen. What a great film!
But that was the problem. We're so disappointed because only the standalone movies are mostly good.
Yeah, the problem is Justice League is unfortunately it's no one's vision, and as a result, it's a Frankenstein of a film. It's really bad. Batman v Superman is a garbage film.
Slog.
I like it right here.
I like it right there too. I think it should definitely be above because they're. I would put it above. I'd put it above Friday.
Who's the only one who's seen all the Friday the 13th? Monty.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better than Friday the 13th?
Because remember, there's still Wonder Woman. There's Shazam.
This franchise is the most heartbreaking franchise on this list for me. I would put it above Friday the 13th, but I don't think I can put it any higher just because the lows are so incredibly low.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Planet of the Apes.
Oh, that's a lot of movies.
Who here has seen all of them? I've only seen the 3 new ones.
I've been planning on doing a watch through though. That might be one of my next franchise watches.
That would be me.
All right, Jonathan, what do you think of the originals?
Okay, the first one is a classic. It has one of the best twists of all time. The second one is a slow movie. I gotta be honest. Like, I rewatched that one again. Like, there's something going on. I mean, Charlton Heston is basically missing throughout the entire movie, but basically nothing happens in the world. Spoiler alert: the world ends. It gets destroyed by a bomb. Third one, it's all right. I mean, it's basically reverse Planet of the Apes, where the apes go back in time. It's fine. And Conquest is like a preview to the new Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's basically the same one. Battle is garbage. Tim Burton one is garbage.
Oh my god, I forgot about the Tim Burton one.
And then we get to the new ones. Now this is interesting. The new ones. Now we can all go back to the new ones. They're all really good. That people are clamoring for some more. And I got to be honest, the new ones are so good that we got to talk about being in a B tier, to be honest. Maybe a high B tier.
I think that 2 through
the new trilogy is one of the best trilogies for sure.
Second through Burton are I totally forgot about the Burton one. The second one through the fifth one seemed to be like, if you think about the franchise, maybe you'll remember it. But that's it. You don't know anything much about it because no one cares as much.
Monty?
Burton so how do you compare it to something like Star Trek? To me, it's got kind of that same
people
sort of.
Care more about Star Trek.
I care a little more about Star Trek. A lot, but he said it. He said it. A lot more people care more about Star Trek.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The new trilogy is S tier on its own, but it has, and then the original film is S tier. The problem is the other films vary between F and C tier.
There's one B one in those sequels, but God, I wish Partis was here. It's like, is it better than a Kung Fu Panda? You know what? Leave it there. It's fine.
Yeah, let's leave it there. Okay. Hopefully Partis can come back. Maybe he just went to the bathroom there, and then he can.
I think we could talk about this. This gets worse and worse.
Jurassic Park. All right, if Terminator shouldn't have been a franchise, Jurassic Park definitely shouldn't have been a franchise. Yeah. Don't you dare put that in the A there.
No, it's way too high.
Good movie. It has one good movie out of 5 films.
Quiz Show is just speaking my language right now. It's one good film.
It is one good film, and that film is an all-timer, but then it has all the other movies to deal with, and none of them are good. Okay? Lost shit. Partis, if you're able to come in, and then make sure to judge any choices that we've had in the meantime.
Yeah, we'll give you some time.
But here's the thing. It gets worse and worse as the movies progress.
Yeah. I don't think it gets worse and worse. I mean, there's a bit of a resurgence with, Jurassic World. Which was, when we talk about box office, that movie stands alone, I think, as a box office phenom, as far as an unexpected phenom, right?
Unexpected, yes, but also,
but not just unexpected. It was top 3 worldwide.
No, I know, I get that. I'm just saying.
And then The Force Awakens happened.
Right.
The problem is, as a franchise, other than the legacy of the first one is how much people love it. It's not super influential in terms of what other franchises have done, other than the 1998 Godzilla movie from Roland Emmerich. There's nothing else that it's really influenced much, and I think that the first movie is so good that if it wasn't for that, then I would put it in the low D probably as a franchise, because there is a Jurassic. I think I would put it at the high D, because as a franchise, it has one S tier and everything else is bad.
I think we got to compare it to like The Matrix here, because we're kind of talking about it the same way.
We're talking about it as The Matrix, but it has double the amount of bad films as The Matrix with the same amount as good.
It kind of has a resurgence, though. The Matrix never gets that.
I'll say this. Like, the first movie is so influential in its special effects. Like, we believe that the dinosaur existed. The practical they hold up incredibly well. Like, we wished for those new ones to, have those again. And to be honest, like, the new ones, like the dinosaurs, they're not as terrifying.
They're not scary. They
scary.
Don't look. No, Partis, come back in. We got more animated films that we definitely need to take.
Yes.
Partis, jump in.
4. Actually, there's
Partis,
4.
Please jump back in. We got a handful here that we need you in here for, please.
Oh yeah.
But bottom line is, like, I would say C.
I would put it low C if you're going to keep it in C. I would definitely not have it.
It's got to be
there.
I put a. Put it right there in the middle. Then
Jurassic Park.
It has one good. It has one all-timer and 4 bad films. Even though they made a lot of money, they haven't really done anything good in terms of legacy and influence in other genres and stuff. I think that it's just one good movie that made a lot of money. So then other movies kept making money because people remembered how much they liked the first one.
Why do we have Finding Nemo in here? There's only
because 2. Finding Dory. So it's 2 films.
The Nemoverse
franchise.
Yeah, we got the Nemoverse here. Okay.
Remember, 2 films and a common IP create a franchise. Frozen and Frozen 2 are a franchise, but that's not on this list.
I don't care enough about this franchise to comment.
Me either.
I'm saving all of my energy.
Again, Finding Dory, box office smash. Again, probably
Nemo
based on Finding Nemo, though, not because of Finding Dory's
merits. Finding Nemo is S tier. Finding Dory is C tier. I think that together.
This is gonna be our first A in a while, actually.
Maybe bottom of A.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, Finding Dory is still good. It's just not Nemo.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it at bottom of A.
Okay.
It's our first A in a while, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Actually, oh come on, I can't possibly see
Ocean's
11
be below Nemo. Can I say this? Can we switch Nemo and Oceans?
I can't.
Yeah.
Me
too.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was about to say I can't see Ocean's 11 below Nemo when we're talking about stuff like that.
All right.
Let's fucking get to it, boys.
You know what? I'm gonna
Let's fucking do it.
Pokemon.
Let's fucking go. It's time for the show. Let's do it.
Go for it, man. Tell us.
The most influential franchise on this goddamn tier list.
Film
it
franchise?
Is a cultural, worldwide phenomenon.
Film
the
franchise.
First movie
You're talking
destroyed
about
the box office. Yes,
no, it didn't.
The first film destroyed the box office in Japan. We're looking at worldwide box office.
I'm looking it up right now.
It definitely didn't. I'm pulling it up right now. You're definitely so fucking wrong.
He's in his own bubble. For the rest of the universe.
I'm in a 90s bubble. Let's fucking do it. Chat, back me up on this. Pokemon franchise. A-tier films. Let's go.
The first movie,
all right,
right?
Guys. The first movie.
Amazing. Everything you just said was wrong.
172 million.
Yeah, it made some money. It didn't destroy.
98.
In 1998.
I mean, that's a lot of money in 98.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, that's also worldwide.
All right. Guys, I'll settle for C tier. We could make this end. I'll accept C tier.
No, because the thing is though,
out of here. No.
Get the fuck out of here with it. It is a mid D to E. It is D to E in terms of a film franchise.
It is more influential. It's you know what?
It's got to be better than Narnia, right?
The thing is, the film. It's not the films that are influential. It is the card game.
Pokemon, the first movie, was the video influential. Game. It was one of the most influential films of all of our childhoods. We all remember it thoroughly.
I've only ever seen Detective Pikachu.
There's never been a good Pokemon.
Oh, right. We got to include Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu is a good Pokemon film.
I know. I like Detective Pikachu.
That's actually good.
I really enjoyed that movie.
You know what? We got to climb up a little bit, actually.
No. Put it below Narnia because there are 25 other movies in the franchise.
You think it's better than the monster movies, though?
I do think it's better than the Monarch film.
You have to remember the franchise. Stop saying that the whole franchise is good. The franchise has only bad movies, except for Pikachu.
Have you watched all the Pokemon films?
I'm short-circuiting.
Quiz show.
Oh my god, everything I've watched is bad.
Go.
I mean, honestly, we shouldn't be fighting over a D tier movie this much. But
let's keep moving it up then. Let's keep moving it up.
No, but come on, Pikachu, I forgot about that one.
You realistically acknowledge Ninja Turtles. Why don't you realistically acknowledge Pokemon?
I am realistic.
Pokemon's lower than Ninja Turtles. Absolutely. 100%.
Oh my god.
I'll agree with.
We'll put it directly below Turtles.
Yeah.
One full tier below.
You know what?
Pirates.
Here's what I'll say.
Oh god.
The first one, everyone. The first one is S tier.
Yeah.
And
I like
even though they're not as well beloved, and I totally understand why, I am the exact person to be on Gore Verbinski's wavelength for the second and third film. Just the kind of strangeness that goes into it. It's my exact sort of vibe. For a big, weird blockbuster. I don't think they're great movies, though. I haven't seen the fourth or the fifth one, but everything I hear about is the fifth one is okay but not great, and that the fourth one is garbage.
Yeah, honestly, they feel a bit retread of the first one. It's like they found something that worked with the first one, and they said, "Okay, that's the formula. Let's keep doing that."
These are terrible. Let's put them below Pokemon.
No. I'll say this. I agree with Krisha about the first one. Definitely S tier. I like the second one. It's not bad.
Yeah.
The third one, I cannot agree. I felt like it was so long. That first hour was boring. Boring.
Yeah. I didn't say
they wanted. It would like.
I'm not saying it's great.
Like I wanted to keep going. Like let's go. Let's get to the action and all that.
I don't think it's very high.
That seems way too high as a franchise.
Yeah, and then also because of box office, we had to keep going. And also, you could tell that Johnny Depp was not into it.
I would put it below Ninja Turtles, by the way.
Yeah, but you could tell in the fourth and the fifth movies, Johnny Depp was not really into character. He's more of a caricature in the fourth and fifth movies.
Yeah, he's more worried about Amber Heard.
Yeah,
or was she more worried about him? Who knows?
Who knows? No one knows.
I will say that the fifth one is a little better than the fourth one, but they're both bad, so I can't really defend those.
You know what? I'll just accede to put it there. It's fine. Let's move Pokemon up one spot. Next one.
All right, what's next?
Do you like
Indiana Jones?
All right, Indiana Jones is A tier because it has a great trilogy, and then it has Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
I like it.
There's no argument on that one.
I don't hate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I also recognize the very bad legacy it has.
Yeah, I think it's just outside of S, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because remember, it has Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's quintessential adventure film.
Last Crusade too.
Yeah. And Temple of Doom is also good. It's just not the same.
But not the best.
You should check out Chris Duckman's review breakdown of it. I think he does a really great job explaining why it's good.
And if we're talking about Quest movies, the Pokemon movies are better anyway. So
shut the fuck up, Pat.
I'm throwing as many jabs as I can. Let's go.
Okay, Pardis, Madagascar.
Pardis, this is where we do need him back.
Pardis.
I will say
Pardis come back.
I'll say
Pardis come back.
Okay,
Pardis
I have my opinions on this. I have opinions on Madagascar.
Yeah, I do too.
I have none.
To be honest, surprisingly, it gets better until Penguins.
And even
it
Penguins
actually does.
So the thing is, the first one, not super great. The first one's a C. The second one's a B minus. The third one's a B plus. And Penguins, I also give a B plus because I think that Penguins, I like, once again, the kind of zany, weird, out there humor that it's going for. I think I just read Pat's comment in the voice of the Penguin. Kowalski analysis. I think that the Penguins of Madagascar film is the exact zany sort of humor that works in a kid's film, and it builds off of what you enjoy without it becoming a Minion spinoff. I think that the second one is just a good, but not great, but still it has a lot of good stuff in there, especially the father-son relationship. And then the third one is just a really fun travelogue chase film where
artists. But it is a really good movie.
Yeah, I think
the circus sequences are beautiful.
I think that it's also visually stunning, the whole series. I think that as a franchise, it needs to go
B, actually. I would go B.
B, but because of its legacy and lack of impact everywhere, I'd put it
behind Shrek.
Yeah, behind Shrek, above 007, because you got to think about the other franchises that are in the B tier.
I'm in agreement, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Despicable.
Man.
Despicable Me. The first one is good. The second one has a lot of fun stuff, but it kind of gets a little old. Fine. I haven't even tried to watch the third one, and Minions is not good. I think that Despicable Me as a whole is a C minus D plus.
This is where we definitely need parties. If you have seen this compared to Ice Age, it's
definitely above DC. It's definitely above that. It's at least there.
I don't understand why Ice Age is C. I gotta be honest.
See, Pardis likes Despicable Me.
the problem is that Despicable Me gets worse with every entry and gets more annoying with every film. Like the first film is a really enjoyable B. Like the first film on its own is a really enjoyable B+.
Yeah.
But then it has the law of diminishing returns, and it's
Minions made a lot of money,
but that doesn't. But that's Minions is one of the things where Hollywood takes all of the worst lessons from a franchise or from success. So
yeah, basically like we all like the Minions as a side character, but it was too much of a good thing creating their own movie. They just were they were not adorable, they were just annoying. Just man, this is a tough call.
Yeah, because the thing is though,
low C.
Illumination Entertainment is not good.
Overall, yeah.
So
I mean, there's one franchise on this list that does Minions a lot better, and that's the Pokemon franchise, because Pokemon are basically Minions.
That's true. He's got a point.
I do have a point there.
All right, let's trade.
I love how Quiz shows refusing to take the troll bait. Zach, that is so fair.
Oh man, I think Partis is gonna come back in now.
I love it. Zach, leave it right there. Just don't change it. End the show. Close the show out right now.
Pasquale, you make me so tired.
That feels good to me.
Show. That's what I'm
here for. Let me look at this overall list here.
You know what doesn't feel good to me though?
All right, let's go.
Is the shape. Okay. We've got a bad shape here. We've got an F tier that's really fucking things up.
So I think what we need to do is we need to move Rambo down to E tier above Transformers, because I was going to bring it up anyway, regardless of actual shape. Are you just trying to rank now based on aesthetics?
No.
You can also put Pokemon back where it fucking belongs.
Yeah, I don't know what we put it back in.
It's the cultural phenomenon.
No, it's not.
The generation.
One tier directly below Turtles, where it belongs.
You know what, Zach?
Okay, let's hold on. Let's focus on the S tier for a minute. I think that's fine. I'm gonna be honest.
I think that the S tier is really good where it is.
Yeah, that's fine.
The only thing I see, How to Train Your Dragon feels a little out of place, even though I've never seen them. Just like conceptually, it feels out of place.
I think
know what? I think it's a little better than Alien and Rocky.
Thinking about it. I don't, because they're just three really good films that have come out in recent years. But Rocky and Alien as full-on franchises, the thing is, Alien has two really good movies, but then it has everything else that's so all over the place. I feel like Alien actually needs to go a little lower.
Alien?
Because as a franchise, it has two great films, but then Alien 3 doesn't have a good legacy. Alien Resurrection doesn't have a good legacy. Prometheus is hit or miss at best with the way people think of it. And Alien Covenant, some people kind of enjoy it. I think it's fucking terrible. Yeah. So I don't think
not even the best dragon movie on this list.
I don't think that Alien actually should even be A. I think it should be high B to recognize the first two films. But we have to acknowledge the.
I would be willing to go here with it.
I could compromise with that, but the first two films are S tiers, but then there's the other films. Look at you hovering over Turtles.
I mean, let's just talk about dragons. Let's talk about in the third Pokemon film, when Charizard saw on television that Ash was in danger, he flew across the fucking world to save Ash and fight a legendary Pokemon 1v1 in what is quite possibly one of the greatest fight scenes in all of cinema history. I feel like we need to move Pokemon up 2 spots just for that.
It's better than DC? I mean,
really?
No.
Yeah.
No.
100%.
No.
The story of a boy and his indentured slave Pokemon is 100% better than anything Zack Snyder produced in the DCU.
Here's the thing. You're fighting with yourself with Friday the 13th.
I know. It's a fight I'm going to win.
Okay, no, I'll let you.
No, Pokemon is where it was before. It was exactly where we agreed on it before.
Look, I don't like Friday the 13th, but it is an influential villain. Jason.
Yeah. So, there's some influence in there, and then we have to take that into account.
Influential.
Stop it.
Mewtwo is highly influential. Mewtwo was introduced in the first movie, and Mewtwo is the third most popular Pokemon. Yeah, but he was introduced in the movie.
Okay,
and he's the third most popular Pokemon of all time.
All right, there are many other franchises here. Let's shut the fuck up.
I want to talk about Sharknado a little bit.
Let's fucking go.
Because I have nothing to add on this one.
Do we give Sharknado credit for setting out for accomplishing what it set out to accomplish?
No.
No,
I don't think that it deserves the F tier because I think that it's too aggressively mediocre in its attempts to be bad for it to actually be an F. I think that, to me, Sharknado is not an F. It is a D-.
I know Zach's
Wait, we got an E. We got a whole E tier here.
Yeah, no, I'm saying D. When I say D-, what I mean is exactly where it is in E, because it is just about F, but it is not fully F because it doesn't have the aggressively unpleasant, angry feelings you get about some of the shitty stuff in some of the films in the F tier. I mean, some of the E tiers too, but there's a couple of highs in the E tier that put them above Sharknado. I also think that Transformers needs to go above Rambo because of Bumblebee.
Yes. Agreed.
I'm good with that.
I want to come back to the Mummy. Why is the Mummy franchise that low now?
Because we took into account Scorpion King, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and half of Mummy Returns.
Yeah, it's got some really, really bad stuff. I mean, like as low as you can go, like the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
All right, here's my problem. We have two buddy cop movies essentially next to each other. We have Rush Hour and we have Men in Black. But we all know the best dynamic duo on that tier is Ash and Pikachu. So let's slide those two films behind Pokemon and move DC and Pokemon up to the top of D tier.
No.
Zach, do it, Zach. Do it. You have the power, Zach. You have the power.
Don't do it, Zach.
Do you want to talk about time travel in Pokemon Forever? We can do that.
That's going to make me move it down.
All right, never mind. There's no time travel. Anyway,
Zach, to me, he just brought it up. He already brought it up, and he said that would make you move, bring it down.
It didn't happen. Zach, Zach, if you do that, I will walk off the show forever. You will lose me forever. That is
what's good is that this show is just about done, so it's okay if you walk off.
That is horseshit. That is a Drew level move right there. Don't you dare do that.
There is one more franchise I am looking at, and that's the Spider-Man franchise. Do you think we should reconsider going into low A? Or no?
All right, no.
I kind of do, honestly.
Because of Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, yeah, that's one movie. You got a good movie in Spider-Man. You got a great movie in Spider-Man 2. You have an all-timer in Into the Spider-Verse. But then you also have Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and Venom. You have 4, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the opposite in quality of Into the Spider-Verse. So if you're going to gauge it as a full franchise, you got to now work towards the middle because you got the two outliers. So you got to figure out more towards the middle.
Here's the thing. I didn't think the first Amazing Spider-Man was that bad.
I'm talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2, bro.
It's really
I know. I agree with you on the second one, but
and Venom. Venom is the poor man's Upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I agree. Upgrade was a better movie, but
hey guys, for the sake of being complete, I kind of like where everything is. I was just gonna say I like where everything is.
Do you want to make the ultimate call with Spider-Man?
I like where everything is right now.
I'll say one more thing about the Spider-Man one.
I think I think
Spider-Verse is so.
I think I broke with shit.
I'll say one more thing about
I've done it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Into the Spider-Verse is so good that we want more Miles Morales movies.
That's true.
Great.
Yeah, but we don't have them.
But
yeah,
they're making a
we don't have them.
We don't have them now.
Here's something that's incredible.
Talk about potential.
That Into the Spider-Verse does. We've talked about how much I don't care about animated movies throughout this. On Saturday, we talked about how much I don't care about superhero movies, and I fucking love Into the Spider-Verse, an animated superhero movie. That's an incredible accomplishment.
The problem is we're gauging as a full franchise, not a single film. And remember, this is the reason why Ben and Drew put Matrix in S tier when there was only one good movie and 2 garbage fires.
That's true.
I have to agree with Quizshow here, and Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite films of all time. It's in my top 10 list.
I've only watched Spider-Verse once. I watched it early last year, 2019. I also think that it is an all-timer in the superhero genre, an all-timer for animation. I don't think that the quality of the one film alone is enough to bring up the entirety of the franchise to an A level, because unfortunately the lows are so low.
All right, I'm going to be honest too. This 007 is
bring it to C.
I don't like it there. It's just
let's put it there. Put it to.
You know what?
It's a nice shape, Zach. I know what you're trying to do. It's a nice shape.
No, I've been not happy about.
I've been thinking about that too. I think that there's enough great stuff in 007, but in this last year, in the never-ending lead up to No Time to Die, people keep doing rewatches of the whole franchise, and there's a lot more negative takes on multiple different parts of the franchise than you think of. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, stuff hasn't aged as well. There's some great stuff in there. There's also a lot of campy stuff and some things that are just not as good. There is a rampant amount of sexism in the entirety of the franchise. I think that putting it at C+ because of the amount of influence and other stuff that it had to do is a pretty good location. I also think I don't like the placement of Jurassic Park. I think it needs to be lower, just because one good movie and 4 bad movies.
I will say this: you can switch Ninja Turtles and Jurassic Park.
That's fine with me.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
I have no interest in Ninja Turtles. I'll concede to that.
I think you should put Meet the Fockers above Jurassic Park.
Wow.
Because the first 2 movies are much more are really enjoyable.
And also,
I think we should.
We also don't have a lot of comedy representation on this list either.
Yeah, but just saying representation doesn't mean much there. And the reason why I'm saying that is 2 very enjoyable comedies and one that is not good is better than 1 all-time film and 4 bad movies. You just cough.
I mean, I'm pretty content with this list, guys. If we just keep fumbling with it, we're just going to keep fumbling with it all night.
I'm okay with F tier. I'm okay with the
F tier is perfect. Our F tier is pitch perfect. Nothing wrong there.
Man, Narnia. I feel like Narnia almost has to be bad because I know I've never seen it, and Pardis.
The first one is good, but it's just like it doesn't even have the when C.S. Lewis wrote it as this crazy Christian Jesus allegory, Disney didn't even allow for a lot of that in there, so they blunted even like the main themes of the book in their adaptation of it. So the problem with, I think it's good where it is at a low D because it's so inoffensive. I actually would put it below. No, I think it's good where it is.
I think I'm happy with this.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm happy with it too. One more, actually. Shrek and Madagascar.
What about him?
So
I could see Shrek going higher, but the problem is the movie's ahead of it.
Mm-hmm. I will be honest. It's
fine.
Something that stands out to me is Kung Fu Panda and Shrek. Just sort of like on a visceral level.
Having Kung Fu Panda so much higher than Shrek?
Yeah.
Because you think of, I agree. I think that the reason why we mentioned that was all of the Kung Fu Panda films are legitimately good. It's just a matter of, as franchises, what's hit harder, what has a longer lasting legacy, what's more influential, blah, blah, blah. That's where that stuff comes in. Kung Fu Panda is a legitimate solid B franchise where all the films are really B+ to A-, but it's just a matter of all the other stuff that kind of can rank above it, where you got to just look at it relative.
All right.
I think I'm fine with this.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
I am happy with it too.
Are you ready for the rebuttals to the rebuttal?
Let's that's it for us. I think we've just created the perfect film franchise tier list. I think
I disagree, but it's not bad.
Anyone that wants to make a rebuttal to the rebuttal, screenshot this, see what you can come up with.
I'll talk with Alex.
And we'll see you on the next one. I think hopefully me and Pat and Patrick will do the fast food one. I think that's the one we got to get to next.
Yeah. I'll be happy to trash that up.
Before we end this, are there any franchises on here, like any film series that you're disappointed are not listed? I, for one, would list the Before trilogy.
Yes, S. That would be S
because
tier.
I think that I would put an S tier if that was on this list. Any other ones that you can think of? Scream. I saw Nikki bring up Scream earlier.
Yeah,
Scream absolutely should be in there, and I would put Scream in. Yeah. So the first film and the second film are so good, and the third film is good but not great, and the fourth one I like. The third one's shaky. I like the fourth one, even though it's still shaky. I would put Scream as a franchise at a high B, personally, because it has two S tiers and it has two films I would put in B. So I would end up putting it at high B only because of the films that would end up being put in A. So I feel like it would fit better in B.
Well, you said that there was not much representation in comedy. Where would you put Beverly Hills Cop?
I've only seen the first two.
And especially for me, 80s comedy is sort of like the worst of the worst when it comes to the comedy genre. So,
how about
not high?
21 and 22 Jump Street.
I love those two movies. I think they're hilarious.
As two comedies, those I would probably put in A tier, possibly.
That was one
I would put them in A tier with the possibility of, in retrospect, in years to come, to possibly put it in S tier.
I agree. But Patrick pointed out The Man with No Name.
And the
Man with No Name is Man with No Name. I would put in A tier because there's so many technical issues in the first two that make them. Like the first two, I give like 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I haven't seen the third one, so I can't actually talk about Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
That's an S tier movie.
Well, yeah, no, I know that. I got to watch it because I'm trying to watch more classic Clint Eastwoods before I ever watch Unforgiven.
Muppets. That's a good
Muppets.
One.
Muppets is pretty solid for a lot of it, with a couple of them like Muppets in Space or whatever, not as hitting. I'd put that solid B to
B.
Oh, goodbye, Pat.
Oh, we lost Pat.
Just left.
All right, Pat's done.
Yeah, I think that's.
Can we move Pokemon again?
F.
No, I can't do that to him.
Put it below. Can you put it below Friday the 13th at least?
Not moving it. This is it. This is the list.
Yeah, I would say the only two disappointments.
Hey man, I had to shoot my shot.
Yeah, basically the only two disappointments not being here is Scream and the Before trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of other comedy franchises,
21 Jump Street too.
Yeah, 21, 22 Jump Street are really great if you're going to look at just two films. Mm-hmm. Any other ones that really stand out that you think might be missing off the top of your head? I mean,
National Lampoon, the vacation series,
the vacation series, the vacation series, which has 2 good vacation movies out of 5 films.
What about? Are there any like action? I feel like there's a lot of action franchises.
There are a lot of action. I mean, there's no Fallen films. The Fallen series isn't on here. Mm-hmm. I think about that because they just announced a 4th one. I'm looking on my shelf to see what stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at my shelf too.
But the thing is that you know what?
Home Alone.
I have. Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
You know what?
Hey.
You know what? I would shamelessly put it a B. I would shamelessly, and I know they're not great, but they are just the exact kind of dumb for me. We're gonna look back at Vin Diesel here with the Riddick series.
Oh, you know what? Austin Powers. That's a franchise that should
Austin
be
Powers. Austin Powers is a solid B. I'd say.
Number 1 and number 2 are both. I mean, it's clearly above Meet the Fockers for me.
Yeah. I think it's a solid B. I think it's a solid B.
Yeah.
Above Kung Fu Panda, probably with those 3 films.
In my opinion, I cannot agree. I just don't like those movies.
Really?
Hey.
No.
That's the thing is though. The issue with ranking comedy stuff too is a lot of comedy is subjective, and it makes it more difficult when it comes to franchises.
It also doesn't. It's also normally a product of the era and doesn't sort of hold up as well. I think a lot of times.
And also, if we're talking about other Vin Diesel stuff, the XXX, thanks Pat. The first one is not that great. The second one is garbage, and the third one by DJ Caruso
it's not bad.
It is so fucking dumb. I think that it is a blast. It's awful.
Thank you. Yes, I absolutely agree. But we did not talk about Lethal Weapon, by the way. Where would you put that?
No.
I mean, that's. Let's see. We've got Die Hard and B, so Lethal Weapon's probably got to be. I think Lethal Weapon probably falls below Jason Bourne.
No, I'd put it above. I'd put it above.
You think so?
Bourne. I'd put it above Jason Bourne because the first two are really good, and I haven't seen the other. I actually have only seen the first one, but I know the quality and legacy of the first two. So I also know that the fourth one was filmed in a January, and it came out 5 months later. What I would ironically, jokingly put in this franchise is the history of the world, because part one's great.
The Mighty Ducks franchise.
Oh yeah, there's one. Mighty Ducks.
No.
I like the Mighty Ducks when they go out into space.
Is that a thing that happens?
That's the animated television series with the direct-to-video film, The Mighty Ducks, and they're literally alien fighting duck hockey players.
Hell yeah!
Disney was weird.
Yeah, I think this is good.
All right,
this is good.
Yeah, I think that'll do it. Jonathan, Jeff, thanks for joining. Pardis and Pat, you guys are gone now, but thanks for your input. And we will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.